This podcast is brought to you by HiDive. Have you heard of HiDive? HiDive is one of the leading sources for streaming anime online. And with exciting fall-exclusive titles such as Bloom Into You, Release the Spice, Girl in the Twilight, and more, be sure not to miss out. At an only $5 per month, HiDive wants to help us enable your anime addiction. Be sure to use the promo code AAAPodcast at HiDive.com to get 50% off your first month of service. This podcast is also brought to you by JList.com. JList is selling kotatsus. That's right, not necessarily a reverse kotatsu, but kotatsus nonetheless. You can get yours in time for the winter season. For as cheap as only $100, you can score a snugly warm spot to sit, nap in your living room, or while you're watching TV, playing video games, having food with friends, or whatever people do under kotatsus. Head over to JList.com right now while supplies last and score yourself a bit of authentic Japan. And now, time to start the podcast.
You're listening to the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Take your anime addiction to the next level at AAAPodcast.com/join. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 446th episode of the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. I am your host, Mitsuki, and I am joined by a man. He's wearing a Bang Muay Thai t-shirt. He will split your skull open with an elbow drop. His name is Kazuo, and how are you?
I am doing fantastic. It's good to be here, Mitz. The sun is shining. The birds are chirping. The thoughts are twerking.
Working.
And
what?
I don't know. And we are podcasting.
Thoughts are twerking.
And of course, we have encroaching voices from the north. We have Enzo, the lovely Enzo from New York City. And how are you today?
It is Enzo from the northern metropolis of New York.
The king of the north.
Hello. Not yet. One day I'll be king.
And of course, we also have Mandy from Cincinnati. Mandy is... She is both the keymaster and the gatekeeper. She is Gozer. She's very excitable and loaded on caffeine usually. But today, how are you, Mandy?
I'm okay. I'm very, very sick, but I'm trying my best.
She's warrior, fam.
She's also a badass. Sick or not, she's hanging in. And of course, welcome to all of you listening from home. And what is our mission on this podcast? We haven't said it in a while.
To make your anime addiction worse.
That's right.
That's right.
Wow.
Thank you for that. And of course, if you want to make your anime addiction worse, you can head over to our website, AAAPodcast.com, which has had a lot of improvements made to it lately. And you can sign up to get our additional content. We do our hentai episodes, where we talk about the naughty. And we do our hobby addicts, where you can learn more about our personal interests and our hobbies, get a little bit of extra talk from the hosts. And, of course, the after parties. We're going to be doing an after party after the podcast today.
Woohoo.
So you can just kind of, have a little sit down with the addicts while we, shoot the shit for a bit after the podcast is over and kind of unwind. Of course, we're also over at Facebook, facebook.com/groups/AAAPodcast is where the official page is. Lots of people on there chatting all the time. It's actually very active, usually. And, of course, the Discord. If you go to the Discord channel on the top of our website, you can click the Join the Discord button, and that will take you to our Discord, where we are around 800 people on there chatting. It's a pretty large Discord community now, and that's where we do the manga club. And we do
It's also where I shower. It's where I shower our listeners with my love.
Wow.
Well.
Damn.
Oh, yeah.
We do watch parties on there as well.
You know what, Enzo? You're going to be showering some listeners with love today on the podcast.
Yeah. No, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that in short
Manga
order.
Club is currently reading books 1 and 2 of number 6, if you want to join us this Wednesday.
You should join, or else I'm going to come in.
What does that mean? Books 1 and 2 of number 6?
Whoa.
Is that 6? I'm so confused.
6 of number 6.
How many books are there?
6.
While you're over at the Facebook page, there is a section on the top where you can basically RSVP for our karaoke party that we're going to be doing at Anime NYC, which is not this weekend, but the following weekend.
My
coming
God,
up.
it's so
Is that
close
right?
already.
Yeah, it's
Oh my
approaching
God.
quickly upon us.
Jesus.
And I'm hoping we'll have it'll be the 4 of us, but I'm hoping for at least 5 to 10 other people that might be in the area that want to join up. So it's kind of it's predicated on your willingness to be in New York City at that moment. So hoping we'll have at least a few people to join us. So head over to the Facebook group and you can RSVP for Anime NYC.
Do it.
Yeah.
Guys, we have a jam-packed episode today. It's one of the most packed episodes I think we've ever done. Because if this podcast does anything well, it is delivering a crapload of content every episode.
Yeah,
It's a little ridiculous.
I think about that all the time. I listen to other podcasts. They just do one thing for half an hour. We do 10 things.
10
over
things.
That's right. We are all about quantity over quality.
And we do it every
quantity over quality, boys.
I think we do quantity and quality, and we do it every freaking week.
We may not be good, but we do a lot.
I don't think
Bro,
many
we got you,
podcasts,
fam.
not many podcasts deliver this level of love. If this podcast was a massage, it would be a deep tissue massage. We're
Damn.
gonna get in deep.
Wow.
With hot rocks and everything.
That's
God.
right.
Damn.
Oh yeah,
And those
acupuncture.
those cups that they put on your back that leave
Yeah.
those weird round
Oh,
bruises.
cupping looks awful.
Yeah, let us suck
I
your
could be
blood out.
wrong, but
Let us suck your blood out with cups.
it
Ugh.
looks
I'll
really
suck your
painful.
blood.
Anyway,
nice
we-
speaking my language, baby. We're gonna be doing the best examples of voice acting in anime, suggested by Jimston. It's JM Oneston from the Discord. So thank you for your submission. And we're gonna be doing our 3rd round of impressions. We only have 2 anime left to pass, and we have we have 10 more impressions.
Oh,
to do,
Lord.
Which means that there's going to be a lot of failing going on. So, but we were doing a certain Magical Index 3, FLCL Alternative, RErideD.
I don't even know, dude. I don't even know.
That time I got Reincarnated as a slime and Hinomaru Sumo. So it's we have a lot of other segments and things we're going to be doing as well. So stick with us and just sit back and enjoy the ride through this podcast. Now let's get it started.
Let's go.
おー、大ニュースです。It's time for big news of the week.
So we had Halloween this last week, and that's probably going to be the subject of our after party at the end of the episode. But
Yeah.
also, Japan has adopted Halloween, which makes perfect sense for them because Japan's not like an overly religious place. They have religion, 2 of them generally that they practice, but they're not like super religious, like in your face about it.
Shintoism and Buddhism.
They coincide very well together. Because Shintoism is more about like celebrating life, Buddhism is more about after death. So people tend to do both.
Right.
But Halloween is it has important backstory behind the holiday, but no one really, hardly anybody really knows what that is. We just eat candy and dress in costumes.
Yeah.
Which is perfect for Japan because they love dressing up, right? And dress up they did at the Halloween in Japan event at the cosplay festival in Ikebukuro. 105,000 attendees showed up
Yeah.
at the 5th year of the festival. 20,000 people in costumes.
20,000. Guys, that's a whole stadium full of cosplayers.
Yeah, that's a small.
Literally. What the hell?
That's almost the population of the town I grew up in.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
That's
same,
Kazuo's looking at a live feed.
I'm
Holy
looking at the pictures of the
Yeah.
costumes. There's a
Yeah.
really good JoJo one I liked.
The second link, guys, on the outline has a lot of photos. So
Right, I'm in to know.
even the governor of Tokyo showed up and dressed in cosplay.
That's
from,
awesome.
From Galaxy Express 999, and also the mayor showed up and was also dressed as Galaxy Express 999. They kind of I guess they must have collaborated. So they were the mayor and the governor teamed up and cosplayed together.
These are amazing.
There's a
There's
ton.
this old man dressed up as Gintama.
Yeah, I see that.
There's just a ton of good cosplay, and Japanese people just look.
Wow.
Japanese
Dude,
people look. They look great.
Half-assed, man.
They look great in costumes.
Dude, there's a full-on Alphonse Elric, like a suit of armor.
Yeah,
and
I
everything.
saw that too, dude.
That is
Oh,
nuts.
the red blood cell's so cute.
So, lots of good stuff going on for Halloween. Why don't you guys call out some of your favorites as you see them from these pictures?
Good lord,
I
there's a
think we
ton of
were.
pictures.
Yeah, that full body armored Alphonse Elric is ridiculous.
That's insane. I noticed there was like a
It
Captain
looks so
America behind
good.
him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you guys gotta look up these pictures, listeners. Like they went so hard for this.
Anime News Network had a lot of pictures on a news story. Also, there was a cosplay runway show. There was a fashion show and a runway performance and a cosplay parade in which 300 cosplayers participated. Also, there were apparently this was a pretty good event for local cosplay merchants, like people who make props and photographers, etc., to network with the cosplayers and just make more business connections. So there was a lot of business type stuff going on.
This is amazing right here. This whole family dressed up as are these all like Doraemon characters or is that
I think that's Katamari Damacy.
What? No.
Maybe not. I don't know what it is. There's so many obscure things that only Japanese people would recognize. But there was some not so great stuff happening in Japan this year for Halloween.
I actually saw videos of this as it was happening.
Wow, really?
What happened?
Yeah, so even though we have all this organized fun with cosplaying and costumes and everything, in Shibuya, there were like freshman level upstate New York college rioting going on in Shibuya. I saw videos of people flipping cars and stuff, man.
Holy cow.
Chaos in Shibuya.
Yeah.
Big time.
Why? What for what?
For Halloween. They were just
cuz?
It's
cause?
They were getting crazy.
surprising to me since
It's so
Japan's
weird.
usually very focused on they value the whole over the individual, in cleanliness. So that's really surprising to me.
Yeah, when I saw the video, I saw the video because of I've been watching Terrace House a lot on Netflix, and one of the girls in one of the seasons is Lauren Tsai, and she was in Tokyo, and her Instagram story was her videos of people flipping cars, people just yelling, and it looked like something that I went to in college up in Albany, New York. It was insane. I was so taken aback by it.
Even during hurricanes, they don't riot. So this is really surprising.
Yeah.
But for Halloween, this is why you can't have nice things.
There was
This
a lot
is
of
why you can't have nice things. Exactly.
there was a lot of trash after the event in Shibuya. A lot of people showed up. I mean, the Yonchome intersection was apparently swarmed, and so much trash that volunteers came out the next day to clean up. A lot of them were saying things like, we really like Halloween, and we don't want Tokyo to ban Halloween events. So where they came out and helped clean up the messes, and 13 people were arrested for groping, assault, and theft in the crowds in Shibuya. And a lot of shop owners closed their shops really early because they were afraid of vandalism, or other things associated with having their shops open during such an event. So a shop owner said, I quote, "I fear Shibuya will be labeled as a scary place. I want Halloween street parties to be banned next year," said one shop owner. There were also
But this hasn't happened before, right?
Well,
Not that
I
I've
think
seen.
I haven't seen things like car flipping, but I think even on the podcast last year, I remember you guys talking about how it's becoming a trash fest at the very least. Last year, I remember it being very trashy, but then this year was trashy plus a shit ton of drunk people.
When you say trashy, do you mean like litter or slut?
Litter, yeah, litter wise. It was people were littered and didn't clean up well afterwards.
So I was wondering what sparked this.
That's what I'm thinking. Something had to trigger all this. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I say the word riot just not as in I didn't think it was I didn't see anything specific as a cause to rebel against. I just think people were losing their minds for no reason. I think it was just drunken. I don't know. It was crazy.
There were fires.
So strange.
At around 6 p.m., a fire broke out in a building in the iconic Center Guy shopping street. With, I guess, people were just kind of watching as the building burned. They don't really know why that happened, but I'm guessing something having to do with hundreds of thousand people being rowdy and drunk, probably, and dressed in costumes might have led to a fire. I'm just guessing.
So surprising.
So, the political leadership of Tokyo said that they may charge money for such events next year because I guess if they're going to trash the place, they're going to have to hire tons of police, and they're going to have to have insurance probably, and they're going to have crews to clean up the garbage. Then I guess they're going to possibly make people pay money so they can at least fund all that chaos. So bad stuff. So good things happening in Ikebukuro and bad things happening in Shibuya, which is really interesting because Ikebukuro is kind of a trashy place. Like that's where a lot of the
Wait, that was trashy.
Ikebukuro. I mean, Ikebukuro is where a lot of the love hotels and the soaplands are.
Where
So,
we
like-
went, it seemed trashy to me. But
No. I mean, Ikebukuro is huge.
okay.
So, but Shibuya is all like businesses and shit. I don't know.
Yeah,
Whatever.
that is weird.
Anyway, whatever. Moving on.
Prepare for trouble!
Make it double. Shut up! You haven't had one useful thing to say since you got here.
Warner Brothers has acquired the rights for a Attack on Titan Hollywood live-action movie,
Okay.
Huh.
and I think we knew about this
So-
already, but now there's more detail.
Right. So I mean, did you guys see the live action that was already made of Attack on Titan?
Yeah.
Nope,
I saw
I
them
did
in
not.
theaters with my sister.
You know, it's a movie. You know,
Yeah.
it's a movie.
Okay.
So it's so I don't know how to feel because in one way it can't get any worse than that, kind of.
Wow. This is bad.
Kinda. So
Maybe this one will have Levi in it.
maybe this one will have Levi in it.
How? Wait, they had an Attack on Titan movie that didn't have Levi in it.
Yeah, they took him out. I don't know why.
There was a lot of stuff that wasn't there or that should have been, or like why is that there? So I don't know.
Why is it so impossible to make a good anime movie? Like it shouldn't
I
be.
don't
Because
know.
anime movies are goofy.
I think it's money and like the need for like the need that people have to just put their mark on something until they twist it.
But the movie,
You
I
know?
mean, anime is also goofy. Like, can you imagine a movie
Not
where a
always.
giant naked Titan with a dumb smile is like flailing his arms through a street?
Yeah,
Like, U.S. audiences aren't going to buy into that.
I suppose.
Right,
Yeah,
and
we-
that's why
I mean-
and that's why I also hate the mindset in general that anime can't be the final medium. It's the same way I feel about comic books. For example, one of my favorite comic book writers that writes Saga, Brian K. Vaughan, refuses to sell the rights for Saga to make it into a movie because he is like, no, comics are a valid final form of a property. My story is a comic book. It will be a comic book. You know what I mean? Like it's the mindset that like, oh, it's an anime. That's not the final form. Let's make a movie. It's a mindset that people have in
I mean, but I
Hollywood,
could
you know.
I could see either way on that. It's like, yeah,
Oh,
it
for
could
sure,
it,
for
it
sure,
could
for
absolutely
sure.
be the final form if you want it to be, but it doesn't have to. Like, I mean, there are plenty of
Absolutely, but like when the writer for Shingeki no Kyojin, right? I don't think he ever pictured this would be a live action film. Sure, he sold the rights, or she sold. I don't know if it's a he or she. Sold
a
the
he.
rights. But
Hajime
like
Isayama.
that's just a money move. But like when he originally wrote it, if he wanted it to be a movie, he would have probably written it a script.
Yeah.
He would have written it differently to be more adaptable, I would think.
It's
Right.
tough. I mean, but it just seems like like there are anime that could make good live action movies, but for some reason they
Absolutely.
just always screw it up. Like I don't
Absolutely.
understand.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Like Ghost in the Shell should have been good. I mean, it was all right.
it was okay.
Yeah, it was okay. It was
but
okay.
like that is a amazing like
That's
that.
easy to adapt.
It's so easy
movie.
to adapt.
It's
It's
cyborgs
like,
and stuff. I mean, it's not.
yeah, and it should have been amazing.
It'd be way easier than giant naked titans.
Yeah.
And what are they going to do? Put pants on them? Like they're going to put them in
Especially
pants and
since Ghost in the
t-shirts?
Shell was also influential to so many American films already.
yeah. It's I don't know. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like what? Where's the hang up? Is it they just don't care enough? Is it just a money grab? Is it?
Well,
I think it's also balancing between fans and trying to bring in new people.
Yeah.
the other unfortunate thing is that I think that to do the Attack on Titan movie the way people would want, with the 3D maneuver gear and all the fast-paced moving, like the Spider-Man type movements and stuff, it's gonna be a high-budget movie.
I don't know if it's
Oh,
even
yeah, for
possible.
sure.
And they're not gonna like if I'm an investor, like these producers, they go around, they get money from places and stuff, right? Like if you're pitching this to me, and you're like, oh, we need $150 million to do this, and I'm gonna say to you, yeah, but like, what is the risk here? Like, what are my odds of getting my money back? And they're gonna be like, well,
What's the ROI?
like it's not gonna have a great ROI because it's not gonna make $500 million, and so they're not gonna have the budget to have people flying around. Like they're not gonna have CG is expensive.
Yeah.
The whole movie's gonna have to be CG.
But like,
have you guys seen the movie The Wall? It was like Matt Damon's.
oh
like,
God,
Oh,
no.
no.
So
Yeah, I know
I,
what
so I saw
I need to.
I saw it because it was just playing at a friend's place, but like you would need a budget of that kind of movie because you have people flying around in ropes and shit in that
Yeah.
movie, and that's like it's not 3D maneuver gear, but that's what you need. Like you need that kind of budget, and I don't know. That money's not gonna come easily
Yeah.
for an anime movie,
But
even
like-
if it is Attack on Titan, which you have to admit is a huge property all over the world.
So there are some good things about this movie. The director is going to be Andy Muschietti, who directed the It movie, the new It movie, which I thought the new It movie was quite good.
Very different from Attack on Titan. But,
yeah, I know, but he did a great job with that movie, and maybe they could take Attack on Titan and dumb it down a little bit, so it's not as intense, it's not as silly. Like it was, you know, it's a very like subdued movie, you know. It's little kids walking around town and stuff. It's not this like intense CG film. Maybe they could take Attack on Titan and spin it down to like more of a like subtle movie that requires less budget, that would still be enjoyable. I don't know. Maybe they'll find a way to do it.
I would be curious to know who's writing it.
The producers, David Heyman, who was involved with Harry Potter. Japanese American actor Masi Oka is also a producer. She was involved with the Death Note movie. Barbara Muschietti, who is the wife of the director, is also involved. So, and the movie did really well. The movie did well in Tokyo. It did well in Japan. They had two of them that came out back in 2015, and they were the 7th and 24th highest grossing films in Japan that year. So it could be that Warner Brothers looks at that and they go, well, it did well in Japan, it can do well here.
Yeah.
And so they're like,
maybe,
we'll just do it.
Maybe. The producer being the guy that was a producer in Harry Potter gives me some potential hope, because like there's a experience of the big universe there, but we'll just have to see, like with all these things, you know.
Yeah, it can be done. There have been adaptations, not necessarily of anime, but of other Japanese media. Like I always go back to the Tom Cruise movie Live, Die, Repeat, or Edge of Tomorrow. It had like 3 different names.
That was a good movie,
and that was a really good movie.
Yeah,
that
unfortunately,
was a good movie. Good pick there, dude.
Yeah, I don't know how much money it made, because I feel like the hype wasn't as recognized as it should have been, and with the whole issue with the naming of the film, it kind of screwed itself. But that was a damn good movie, and that was an adaptation of, I believe, like a light novel or something like that.
Edge of Tomorrow had a $178 million budget,
which is what you need for Attack on Titan.
And it made $370 million. So you wouldn't call that a huge hit.
Yeah, I mean, it made its money.
Yeah, and you can unfortunately attribute that to probably just like fans of the cast too. You know, like I doubt the people cast the Attack on Titan movie are going to be people that are like famous American.
They're not going to land Tom Cruise.
Exactly.
Tom Cruise as Levi, I don't think.
No, they're gonna cast some no-name actors that are not good.
Right.
Would be cool if they got Matthew Mercer to do Levi though, because he already voices it.
That would be funny. It might be a little bit old.
He has the hair, you know.
The movie needs to be true to the property, for the fans of the property, and then it needs to have some stars in it to get people that aren't fans of the property to go see the movie. And unfortunately, those two things are going to cost a crap load of money.
I mean, like the standard is Marvel at this point. Like, look at Marvel; they brought their comics to life with that formula. You know,
it's almost better if you adapt something that doesn't have a massive fandom. You know what I mean? Because then there's no expectation, and you can kind of run with it however you want to.
But then there's a high risk that it won't be like Old Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Are you talking about the Samuel L. Jackson
Old
Boy?
Boy's good.
You're talking about the original Korean Old Boy.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, please, yeah.
Well, damn, the Korean Old Boy movie is like a damn masterpiece.
Right.
The movie's good as hell.
Yeah, but it didn't have like the manga didn't have a massive following behind it when they adapted it.
That movie is so good. It is really good. Okay, are we done there? It sounds like we're not loving it.
I mean, hey, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Who knows?
Exactly. Hope for the best. Listen, if they kill it, I'm gonna be super stoked. You know.
All right, well, we have a new segment here, as promised on a prior episode. We have Enzo Senpai's Notice Me Corner, which if you go to our website, the top bar is now called, it's now called Mailbags and More. And you now have 3 options on that. You can submit a mailbag, you can submit a topic, and you can submit a Enzo Senpai Notice Me Corner. So if you would like to submit to this topic, then that's where you do it. I'm going to play your drop, and then we'll explain what's going on.
Cool.
皆さんおめでとうございます Join us in Enzo Senpai's Notice Me Corner.
She's so excited.
She's so excited.
She's always excited.
Guys, so you know, lately I've had I've been thinking about a lot and about life and you know how things
He's
It's gonna be pretty
deep.
dreary, but things that are good should be celebrated. And this podcast is something really important to me. And through that lens, you guys are also extremely important to me and to all the other hosts as well. So this is a segment where if you've achieved anything recently, if you're working on a big project, if you have beaten a sickness, if you have gone through something crazy and you came out on top of it, I want you to let us know so that we can read that achievement on the podcast and celebrate you for a minute because you deserve it. So please do. I'm looking forward to reading these, as they come in to let the world know that we got some good people listening to the podcast.
We're not going to skip any of these submissions either. We're not going to pick
No,
and
we're not
choose
yet.
them.
I'm not gonna pick them to be like, oh, that's not cool enough. No, like if you write in, you completed something. I want to recognize you.
I mean, I feel like we could skip some of them.
Yeah.
Like, it's like,
Well, all right. So there are times when people submit mailbags that aren't mailbags.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, just wanted to say thank you. Like that's not a mailbag, but like assuming it's a real submission, we're
yeah.
not going to skip.
It's
it.
like,
Right,
guys,
obviously,
I took a
yes.
wicked poop earlier today, and I'm very impressed by it. I would like to submit that.
I made a bowl of cereal this morning. It was dope.
It was dope.
It was dope. Anyway, we have our first one is by a listener named Christian. I won't read his last name because, but Christian says, "Hey host, I've recently left my old job in shipping and receiving what? To use
Shipping and receiving.
shipping and receiving to use the skills I gained there to begin work as a mechanic as a machine forklift operator at a warehouse, and that has given me some new experiences. The change that I'm proud of is that change finally drove me to become sober in life. Throughout my 20s till now, I always needed to relax to an excessive degree. I've always needed to relax to an excessive degree. This podcast, along with my other favorite podcast, This Is Rad, are two of the staples throughout that time that always made me ponder if I could do life without those substances. It kept me going, thinking if they can do it, so can I. That time in my life has finally come, and the AAA podcast was pivotal along with This Is Rad in keeping me alive. I hope that gives other people hope to live and strive to be loyal to yourselves and the other people most important in your life, like fellow podcast hosts such as yourselves. Even if you don't start till your 30s, love you guys. Meow. Dude,
Yeah.
congratulations. The meow was there. I didn't even just add the meow.
That's all.
Congratulations on being sober. That is a huge accomplishment. And I'm really happy to hear that, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, as somebody who has a lot of alcoholism in their family, that one kind of hits close to home. So I'm proud of you.
Yeah, man. One day at a time. You got it, buddy.
Yeah. I've been sober for about 8 hours. And
Ada.
yeah.
I, Enzo, notice you as well, Cosmo.
Oh,
that was nice. That felt good. I hope your day goes well, man.
that's awesome. Yeah, congratulations on the new job
Yeah.
and on the newfound sobriety. That's awesome, man. Good on you. We're very honored to hear that we played a part.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Even though I
Yeah.
can't
Oh my
understand,
God, you're right.
I can't understand how we pushed you towards sobriety. I feel like we would push you away, but hey,
I think sometimes just
whatever works.
just like grounding people and
Yeah.
giving people like stability and
maybe he
like
learned from
something
our bad
s-
example.
Something that someone does every single week in their life, I think, is enough to help someone
Yeah.
stay with something, like almost like a routine or.
Yeah.
Totally.
So
I can speak to that myself. Like, critical role for me every Thursday night is, yes, it's a bunch of nerdy ass voice actors playing D&D, but to me it's that beacon in my week that's like every Thursday, no matter how shit my week is, I know that I have 4 hours of like really good people doing something really nice. So if I can do that for someone through this podcast, then I am very satisfied with where my life is at.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Enzo, I'm gonna be caught up with you pretty soon, my guy. I'm almost done with the first campaign.
Yo,
Are
season
you?
2 is so sick.
Yep. I got like 5 more episodes until I'm done with the first campaign.
Yeah, so you and Mandy are almost both done. Yay.
All right, should we roll right into the next news segment?
Oh man, we got new
Let's
segments all over the
Do
place.
it. Let's go.
昔に帰ろう It's time to dive into the past with a retro dive.
So a lot of people, when we did our last survey, which we got a lot of responses on the last survey, and it does help us a lot. So thank you for participating in that. A lot of people said that they wanted to have more discussion of older shows.
Ooh, nice. All right. I like this.
And we don't really have time for that usually because because even as it is, we miss like maybe every 15th new show that we're supposed to review doesn't get reviewed. Every 15th, which I think is pretty good.
Yeah.
But we definitely don't have time usually to cover older things.
We got jobs. We got lives. Unfortunately.
We got jobs, boys.
Yeah.
If only we
I
didn't
just
have to
binged
work.
all of Chihaya Furu.
Well, Mandy doesn't have.
That's and Mandy, Enzo, Senpai want to recognize you.
Oh my God. Well, Mandy, you're a machine though. That doesn't count.
That's true.
You don't
I watched
sleep.
all of that, and I'm caught up on all the new shows.
You're a crazy
my
person.
God.
I don't understand you.
So I was talking with High Dive about how to, be more. How they wanted to be more involved, and so I tried to come up with a way that we could accomplish that and accomplish something that people wanted to have us do more of. And High Dive does have a lot of exclusive old shows.
Right.
They do. The catalog is pretty nice.
Older, Mitz. All right.
Older.
It's not old.
It's
older.
So this is going to be a segment where we give we're not going to review an anime, but we're going to recommend an older show to you that you may not have seen, that you may not have heard of, to sort of give you an old anime recommendation. Older anime recommendation.
Thank you. Yes, please. Don't be ageist against.
That also happens to be exclusive to High Dive, so we're kind of killing two birds with one stone here. And then when I say older, I'm thinking like pre-2002. That's 15, 16 years old now.
Okay.
As sad as that is to say, it's true. And so the pick for this week is the Big O.
Boy.
I have memories of this show as a kid.
The Big O is exclusive on High Dive. It's a Sunrise Studio anime. It came out in 1999. It's 26 episodes, and you'll remember it because it was on Cartoon Network back in 2001.
Dude, this anime was so it had this really cool vibe about it.
It is cool. I watched 3 episodes of it this morning.
Nice.
It was like Mech Batman, but most
Yeah.
iconic memory of
it is Mech Batman, and I'm going to talk about that.
It's like Mech Batman, right?
Mech Batman plus amnesia.
Basically.
Plus the iconic Big O. I still have that soundbite in my head all the time.
Interesting tidbit about the Big O. It was originally supposed to be 26 episodes, but it got canceled in Japan due to lack of interest, and it only ended up having 13 episodes. But when it came out on Cartoon Network in the West, it was such a hit in the West that Cartoon Network actually co-produced the final 13 episodes with the original studio. So Cartoon Network is the reason why this anime got finished.
That's
I didn't
awesome.
know that.
Which
That's
is cool,
awesome.
right? So
yeah, that's awesome.
The setting it's so noir. Like when you watch this, you're like, oh my God, it's basically like the most noir thing ever. It has
it's anime Gotham.
It is anime Gotham. It has this super sexy jazz music. It kind of reminds me of like the music you'd hear from Kite. Steve Bloom, pretty much everybody's favorite English voice actor, did Spike. He did Mugen. He did Tom.
He did
Onizuka. He did the voice of Konami.
Yeah, Tom.
And let's be honest.
Wait, that was Steve Bloom?
Yeah.
Yeah, hell
what
yeah.
the
hell
fuck?
yeah. They even brought him back to do the new Tom.
I had no idea.
Steve Bloom's done like a million voices. Well, he's also the voice of Roger Smith, who is the main character of the Big O. And the Big O is about this city called Paradigm City, where there was some calamity. There will be no spoiler.
Paradigm City.
It's a Paradigm City. So there will be no spoilers here. But 40 years ago in the story, every single person in the city suddenly had amnesia. They lost all their memories, which must have been quite a scene, due to some terrible calamity that happened. And in this city, there's a guy named Roger Smith, who has the most generic name ever, who is a top negotiator that pretty much fights crime all over the city and just fights dangers and injustices. And eventually, he's going to work towards uncovering some of the secrets of the city because it's very mysterious. Because no one knows about it. People don't even like going underground in the city because they don't remember what's under the ground. They're like, what's down there? We don't know. So they won't go down there. And yes, as Enzo said, he's very much Batman. Roger Smith's character design looks a lot like Bruce Wayne.
He's got a butler.
His attitude, yeah. His house is big, he has a manor, like the Bruce Wayne manor. He's got a butler. He's got a fancy car that looks like the Batmobile, sort of. He fights crime. The Big O, the big mech robot, actually goes into a bat cave. He is about as Batman as an anime character will ever be without actually being Batman himself. And when he pilots the Big O, he says,
Now, Big O, it's showtime.
which is like, you can tell it's Steve Bloom.
Dude, I love
So-
it. That was
Yeah.
awesome. That gave me so much nostalgia.
And so it shifts into like this giant monster movie anime where like this giant monster is terrorizing the city. They're trying to, like in episode 1 and 2, it's trying to rob this bank and steal all this money. And, he goes, and so Roger Smith's all like,
Now, Big O, it's showtime.
and the Big O like comes out of the ground and he gets in it. And it turns into like this monster movie where the Big O it's almost like Godzilla versus Mothra. And you have like the Big O like push the other mech into a building, and they end up like destroying half the city. But so people that like these crazy monster movie type things will get a big kick out of the Big O. And also I love the design of the Big O because it's a real robot, and we
Yeah,
all
it's
know I
cool.
love that. So they often show how Roger operates the Big O from the inside. Like it has foot pedals that he pushes down on. It has like buttons and switches that they'll show him pressing.
If I recall, it's a very like steampunk type robot, right?
It is fairly steampunk, yeah.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
got this big disc that comes down around Roger, and then these like handles like slide out of the disc, and he can slide them around the disc to control like I guess how the robot moves. And they'll show him doing that as he's fighting, and it's just really cool. Like the Big O's it's pretty cool.
It's a good older show, everyone.
It is. And so I am definitely suggesting people watch the Big O because a lot of us, like I feel like most of us remember the Big O. Maybe we haven't seen all of it, but like Enzo and I are definitely nostalgic about it. Just
Oh
because-
yeah, no, I can picture the animation of the Big O coming out of the ground and him yelling that. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I remember I remember not understand because I was super young. I remember I was only 10 at this point, and I remember watching the show every day. I don't remember what the story is, but I remember watching it every single day.
So I definitely recommend you guys check out the Big O. I don't think you'll regret it. It's definitely unique. It's a unique sort of story. So that's the first ever retro dive.
Look at
The
that.
first exercise.
We're
He
talking
does
about
look like
old
Bruce
stuff.
Wayne.
He does, right?
Yeah, 100.
Oh my
It's-
God,
it's-
he's-
Did you Google it?
Yeah, I'm
It's
looking
a-
at pictures.
It's 100% a Batman ripoff.
So he's totally Bruce Wayne. He has this android girl named Dorothy who he picks up in like the beginning of the anime, and when she has nowhere to go, so she's gonna start living with them, and she's like this deadpan robot girl who has like the most dry sense of humor ever. And when she moves to his manor, he goes, we got a bunch of rules in this house, and you're gonna have to follow all of them. But there's one specific rule that even I follow, and that is that everybody has to always wear black all the time.
Wait, did he say that?
Yeah, he says it at the end of the second episode.
That's
That's
amazing.
so sick, actually, though.
And
'Cause
she-
that's like literally my code as well. Like I'm just gonna wear black whenever I can.
And she looks at him and she goes, "Your taste sucks."
That's
And
awesome.
he's
She doesn't know
just
what she's
like-
talking about.
It kind of reminded me of Spike a little bit in that moment. So
That's awesome.
it's a good show. Check it out for sure. The Big O. We don't have any trivia again this week. I forgot to update it. I'm sorry, but it is updated now. I have updated it now, so if you go to the website, trivia rolls on, as always. So, and the theme is still anime from the 80s. So this is for the old fogies like me.
Mm-hmm.
So
Older, Mitz. Older.
Older, Miss.
You're not
Please.
old.
Please.
I'm still young enough to go to Colorado and climb some damn mountains.
I'm still young.
Which, by the way, I have made pretty significant progress towards that, and so I could see that happening within a month.
He's leaving us.
Sick, man.
I have a second job interview with the same company on Monday.
Nice. Well, we didn't have a trivia on the website, Mitz, but we do have an in-show trivia question.
Would you like to read it?
Let
Sure.
the people know.
So this is another one of those name that anime. I'll read you a little synopsis here, and we'll answer it right after the news break. It says he wanders feudal Japan, as in, oh God, it's what the hell is that word? Itinerant.
Iterant.
Iterant.
Swordsman for hire. After a past betrayal left him masterless, he has no more patience for warring political factions and their schemes. Unfortunately, both past and political intrigue collide when he meets and saves a female ninja. Name that anime, and we'll tell you after the news break. Stick around.
See ya.
Hey, all you hopelessly addicted anime addicts out there. Mitsuki's here, and it's time for your first shot of anime news. Leading us off, Tokyo is struggling to come up with enough volunteers to be city guides for the summer 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Looks like their goal was to have 30,000 recruits signed up by December 5th, but they are well short of their goal and have only secured 16,000 of these volunteers as of October 23rd, so it's not looking real good for Tokyo. The main job of these city volunteers is to help tourists at airports and stations, train stations specifically, to help them be guides throughout the city. But looks like things are not looking so good for the participation of volunteer work. There are other volunteers as well, such as those that are volunteers at the actual events, and they have had no problem reaching that goal. So it looks like people are being a little selective with what types of volunteer work they want to do. Next up, Studio Pierrot is producing an exclusive anime title called Hero Mask for Netflix. The first part of this anime will have 15 episodes, and it's going to debut on December 3rd, so you're not going to have to wait very long to see this. The synopsis: now there's a mysterious mask before James' blood, and the man behind it is one that shouldn't exist. What is the mystery surrounding this mask? So begins an action-packed crime story set in a beautiful city, with James' blood being played by Yasuyuki Kase of Subete ga F ni Naru, The Perfect Insider, Sarah Sinclair, played by Yuko Kaida of Meikaku City Actors, Lennox Gallagher, played by Junpei Morita from Naruto Shippuden, and a lot of other really well-known names are also involved in the production of this anime. The director is Hiroyasu Aoki, who directed Bakemono no Ko, and also other really high-profile works that worked on Psycho Pass and other popular works such as Tokyo Ghoul. So, if you're a fan of the works that come out on Netflix, Hero Mask is going to be coming out pretty soon from Studio Pierrot. Next up, the web manga Joshi Kosei no Kudazun Kai is receiving a TV anime. This was announced recently. The synopsis: one day out of boredom, Tanaka decided to give her classmates nicknames based on their quirks. Her friend Sakuchi became Ota for her nerdy interests, and her other friend Yagi no Miya became Robo because of her expressionless personality. In retaliation, her friends decided to name Tanaka Baka. These are the ridiculous days of three high school friends claiming or not at the height of their youth. Comedy slice-of-life manga that has been serialized on Comic New Type Web since November 2014 is now getting a TV anime. And lastly, rounding out our news this time, looks like Goku is going to be making his way into the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, joining the likes of John Legend, Rita Ora, and Diana Ross. He will be the largest Super Saiyan to ever make his way into the parade, this also coming before the release of the Broly movie in American theaters on January 19th, so probably a promotional play for the Dragon Ball movie. So if you're a fan of Dragon Ball, or maybe you're one of those people that watches the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, you'll be able to see Goku amongst 16 other giant balloon characters, 43 novelty balloons, heritage balloons, and all kinds of other things, and 1,200 cheerleaders, etc., as they make their way down through New York City. This was Mitsuki, and this was your anime news break. Now, time to get back to the podcast. Hey, you, listener. Yeah, you, the guy still pirating his anime. This is the voice of anime speaking here. Hey, are you listening? You know you don't have to pirate anime anymore, right? It's not 2002. You can watch your anime streaming online. What? Too expensive? Well, did you know that HIDIVE is only $5 per month? So just for $5 a month, you can watch your anime legally on HIDIVE.com, support the anime industry. You're going to feel good about yourself, and you're going to put a smile on my face. You never know, I could be a loli with a really manly voice. And nobody wants a sad loli. So head over to HIDIVE.com and correct the error of your ways right now with some legal streaming. Welcome to 2018. Now, wasn't that easy?
Mandy, I've got a great idea.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay, what if, now hear me out, what if we did additional episodes? I'm talking hobby addicts, after parties, maybe even hentai episodes, if you're nasty.
Well, I mean, we already do all of those.
Hold on, what?
Yeah, we've been doing that for like years.
How did I not know about this?
You've been in like a ton of those episodes.
Come on, Mandel.
My name is Mandy.
Okay, Medward. You know I don't pay attention to things like that.
Like yourself speaking.
Huh? Well, I'm glad now we're making millions off these extra episodes.
Actually, they're only like a couple bucks a month.
Wait, what?
Yeah, if you go to AAAPodcast.com/join, you can sign up to get access to all of our extra podcast goodness for just a few bucks a month.
Whoa, that is a steal. All right, so where do I go to sign up?
I just told you. AAAPodcast.com/join. And besides, you're in those episodes.
Huh?
Just go to AAAPodcast.com/join already.
Welcome back to episode 446 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. And we had an intro trivia question, I believe.
We did.
Oh shit! Well, since you're so since you're so excited about it, why don't you go right ahead?
Well, I'm excited because I actually knew this one. But before the answer, I'll read the question again. The question was: He wanders feudal Japan as an itinerant swordsman for hire. After a past betrayal left him masterless, he has no more patience for warring political factions and their schemes. Unfortunately, both past and political intrigue collide when he meets and saves a female ninja. You guys know it?
I mean, the answer is right there, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is. The answer is Ninja Scroll, and I think people in our live chat got it right, so congratulations.
Oh, They did.
They did?
Good,
yeah, look at that.
So good job, guys. Yeah, Ninja Scroll, another classic of pure unbridled violence. What it is? It's what it is.
Mitsugi's favorite.
Oh, no, it is what it is. Yep.
No, let me be clear. Ninja Scroll is a bad movie.
Right.
Unless you want to watch violence. then it's great.
That's fair.
Yeah. Because watching a man drink the blood out of another man's arm is pretty intense.
The stump of his arm.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now the moment we've all been waiting for, but we're back to vanilla. But vanilla, but still delicious.
What?
Mandy's manga.
Vanilla?
What? Vanilla's vanilla's delightful.
Why is it vanilla, though?
Because it was Halloween themed.
It's the original.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was chocolate. Now we're back to vanilla.
I feel like it was more pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin? Are you a BWB?
I guess it is fall.
It's Halloween.
Do you have wait a second, Mandy? Do you own any UGG boots?
No, I don't.
Do you, Mandy?
Do you have a North Face jacket?
No, I don't.
She's not a BWB.
I didn't say she was.
You just did.
I said the segment was in pumpkin spice latte mode.
Mandy, what flavor was your Halloween segment?
Oh, definitely vanilla's my favorite, and I'm not just saying that because you said it first. It's actually my favorite flavor.
Well, no, but now it's back to
it's
vanilla.
vanilla now, but what was it flavored?
What was it during Halloween?
Yeah.
Oh,
blood flavored.
Spoopy flavor.
Man, do you guys remember the Superman flavor ice cream?
Hell yeah.
It was blueberry flavored.
Yes, it was blueberry.
Oh my god.
Nice, dude.
Moving on.
And now, let's take a minute for the Manga Minute with Mandy.
Alrighty, so Mandy's Manga Minute is where I take a minute to tell you about a manga and hopefully help you find something new to read. And you have to bear with me because I'm feeling kind of sick and yeah. But this week I am doing Tomo-chan is a Girl, or Japanese Tomo-chan wa Onanoko. And boyish high school girl Aizawa Tomo finally manages to tell her childhood friend Jun that she's had a crush on him. Unfortunately, her confession goes right over his head. He didn't even realize she was a girl until junior high. And even now, Jun still thinks of her as a bro. How can Tomo-chan possibly convince him otherwise and win Jun's heart? So Tomo-chan is a shoujo comedy manga by Fumita Yanagiri. Sorry, my cat just jumped up on my leg and scratched my leg. but it is presented in a 4-koma style. There's currently only 1 volume out in English, published by 7 Seas, but there are more coming in December in English. I went into this manga not really expecting anything at all. The synopsis sounded very generic, so it actually threw me off. But and I was also expecting the recurring gag of Tomo's crush June not being able to tell if she was Tomo was a girl or not to get really old. But thankfully, this manga actually had a lot more to offer to it than I was expecting. Tomo is not just like a one-note violent tomboy the entire manga, and she shows signs of having a shy, cute side to her. And June isn't completely ignorant of everything around him. There are signs that he has feelings for her. So the manga was completely driven by the characters and their personalities. My manga minutes are not usually meant for reviews. It's just mostly for me mentioning manga that I have been currently reading and hope that someone else out there finds something to read. But with Tomo-chan, I generally really enjoyed this one and plan on continuing it. And it's really funny if you like Nozaki-kun. I think there's a possibility that you can enjoy this. Very easy to read, lighthearted, character-driven comedy with just a little bit of romance in it. It's not overbearing. So yeah, give that a shot if it sounds like something you might be interested in.
I'm interested in it. It's
awesome. Really, really cute. You should check it out.
Awesome. I would love to.
It's so funny too. Tomo's best friend in the manga is amazing. She is just a manipulative little sadist, but she's also like her best friend. She's wonderful. I love her.
Yeah, you gotta love the best friend that's stealing the show. That's always a good thing.
But yeah.
Well, thank you, Mandy. It was, I love vanilla as well. It's fantastic.
I like French vanilla.
French vanilla is also good.
All vanilla is good.
Yeah, all vanilla is pretty good. Yeah.
There's a reason why vanilla has remained a staple flavor for what? It was probably the original.
Centuries.
The original flavors were probably vanilla and chocolate. So. Well, what?
Nothing. Never mind.
Oh, for God's sake.
I was going to make a bad joke.
Was that a joke that didn't come to fruition?
Nope. We're going to move past that one.
All right.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, we have our main topic. And we have the best examples of voice acting in anime suggested by, I'm just going to say the name is Jimston. Because it's Jimston spelled with a 1. And and he didn't specify the language or exactly... if we're talking about
great because I picked
moments or
picked my favorite German voice actors is what I did. I don't know what you guys did.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Luck, so alt, man.
I'm kidding.
Now then, so I think we should let Mandy begin with one first because Mandy has many on her list, and I have
Mandy went the fuck off.
Unless Mandy would like to rest for a moment, in which case I will go first.
No, that's okay. So I was gonna save the best for last, but I might start with it first just in case we run out of time. And I definitely want to get this one in there.
I feel like I already know who it is. The only was that?
Who it is?
He has a prediction.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, who the voice actor is?
Who is it?
Could be a woman.
Mamoru Miyano.
No, I mean he's on my list, but it's not that.
Oh damn! I feel like that's the one you're always talking about. All right.
Well, you're not wrong, but yeah, I think she's. Which I want to know which role you're gonna talk about first.
And it's literally the only Japanese voice actor's name that I know, and it's only because you've said it before.
Well, if we're gonna talk about best voice acting in anime, I think we have to mention Rakugo Shinju. Absolutely have to, especially with Akira Ishida's performance in it.
100%.
Absolutely,
it's literally art. Yeah.
Every single scene that has Rakugo in it in that anime is marvelous. They're literally performing it.
Yeah, and Rakugo is basically voice acting. But and there's so many scenes in Rakugo Shinju you could pull out. The entire thing is impressive voice acting. There was a series, I could not find it though, unfortunately, online, but there was a series up about behind the scenes on the performances of Rakugo Shinju, because they had a Rakugo performer came in and trained them, and they went through like every scene, and the scenes aren't cut. It's not like if they screwed up during it, they cut them and spliced the scenes together. They had to actually perform the entire thing and flawlessly. And it's just so fascinating. And especially Akira Ishida's performance in it, because when the show starts, he is very insecure and amateur at Rakugo. And I mean, you have to think about these voice actors are acting in layers too, because the voice actor Akira Ishida, his character Yakumo, I think I might have accidentally called him Akira earlier. I meant Yakumo, but when Akira went into the studio, he had to think, okay, I am acting out this character Yakumo, but Yakumo is also acting out these other 4 characters, and he's insecure, so I have to slip in that part. Like, I have to put on a boring performance as another character, pretending to be these other characters. It's just so fascinating, and he evolves over the show too, and gets better and better and better at Rakugo. But man, it's just so amazing. But are we playing clips? Because I did bring out clips.
We could play clips off of the computer that Cosmo is using.
Okay, I didn't know if you're able to. I just chose some.
I see. Okay,
yeah, I think we should play them. I didn't personally provide clips, but I think that Cosmo can. He's playing one right now.
I got you, fam.
Oh well, I was just gonna say this one that I chose is Akira being Yakumo performing the Shinigami performance in the show, which is his best performance.
Oh yeah.
It was really hard to find a really good clip because, of course, I have to find them on YouTube. I can only work with what I can find, but
okay.
Yeah.
I'll play it right now.
Go for it.
その今にも軽装なろうそくがお前さんの寿命で。なんだって
The important thing here, I think, is that he's performing multiple voices like at the same time.
気の毒だけどもうじき死ぬよ。この燃えさしにろうそくの火を移してみな。しくじったら死ぬぞ。いいかい？わかったら。
That is interesting.
You don't have to play the whole thing.
Okay, yeah, I'll pause it. That is interesting though, because he's playing each character simultaneously.
Yeah. I wish I could have found a better clip because I don't think that's one of the better performances in the show. But yeah, it's really interesting. I love that entire series, and if you have an interest in voice acting, you should definitely check it out.
All right,
sweet.
Well, I guess I'll go next here just to give Mandy a rest. We can keep going back and forth, and we can take turns with everybody. So I kind of took the same approach. I took specific roles, and because mine wasn't so much like, oh, here are the best voice actors or actresses. It was more like, here are the best performances by, whoever. And I would say that I'm not really an expert on voice acting, but I do know roles that I consider difficult or that were particularly impactful to me. And the first one on my list here that I want to mention is Noriko Hidaka as Satsuki Kusakabe from My Neighbor Totoro, which is kind of out of left field, I think. But this is a grown woman playing a 10-year-old girl. And there's a lot of really intense emotional stuff that happens in My Neighbor Totoro. So it starts off with these kids trying to adapt to the fact that they're moving to a completely different place. And they're in like a foreign environment. They're not familiar with the house. They're not familiar with the forest that's around them. They're familiar with basically nothing. And so there's an awful lot of discovery and imagination that's happening during this movie. And she's playing, not only is she, just playing the role of a girl who's discovering lots of things, but she's a young girl. And Totoro doesn't have a lot of characters in it. So this actress is probably 30% of the dialogue in the movie, And not only that, there's a lot of really emotionally impactful moments in this movie, such as there are scenes where Mei is missing and Satsuki is like frantically searching, and the performance that she gives and the fear that she has in her voice. There are a couple scenes in that movie where she's speaking to the grandmother who's like sort of in the movie pretty frequently, and she has like this tearful just explosion of emotion when she's talking about what's going to happen if her mother dies, where she gets a call from the hospital and they don't know why there was a call from the hospital, and Satsuki freaks out and she's like, you know, what am I going to do if my mother dies? And the grandmother is just like speechless in that moment. And so there's a lot of like just childlike wonder and emotional impact that has to be delivered in that movie. I mean, for God's sake, she finds Totoro, you know. There's the whole scene where they're growing the Totoro plants in the dream that they have, discovering the soot sprites. There's just tons of stuff in that movie, and I think that not that I think that Ghibli would ever pick a voice actor or actress that wasn't top tier, because it's Miyazaki and he's going to be very particular.
Right.
And this won't be the last Ghibli role on my list, but I think that this woman did a really fantastic job. And if you go back and you watch the movie, Satsuki probably has more dialogue than any of the other characters. The father's there, but he's kind of doing his writing and stuff. The mother isn't really in the movie hardly at all. The grandmother's there, but she's sort of on the side too. May is a main character, but she's such a young child. I feel like she doesn't speak as much as Satsuki does. Satsuki does most of the speaking in the movie, and so she's carrying the whole film, a lot of the film by herself. And so I thought that Hidaka did a really fantastic job. I don't know what she's done since then. Maybe not much, but she crushed it. That's my first pick, bitches.
Very convincing little girl too.
Very convincing. Yeah, she did a great job. And I should say that pretty much every English version that Disney did of the Ghibli movies, the voice acting is also unbelievable.
Oh yeah,
they crush it.
Really good job. Yeah.
Of course, they're hiring like Billy Crystal and stuff to do the voices. So I mean, it's kind of like duh.
And like Laura Bailey and stuff too. Like they're always gonna slay.
All right, that's my first pick.
Yeah, so, I can go next.
Go for it.
Yeah, so I've always thought that this character's voice acting was done extremely well, and that is the character of Rintaro Okabe from Steins Gate, done by one of Mandy's favorites, Mamoru Miyano. And I think and the reason this role has always stood out to me is because it's extremely dynamic. Especially in the original Steins Gate, and then in the recent Steins Gate Zero, which is probably why this role is super fresh in my mind, because we just talked about this a couple weeks ago. Rintaro Okabe in the first original Steins Gate is a character that is honest, good, while at the same time kind of has a screw loose, and that comes out super clear in just the way the character speaks. There everything from honest dialogue with his friends to worried dialogue with his friends to crazy evil genius laughter dialogue to himself and to others, you know. And those moments where he's like, "I'm holding Kyoma," all those moments they always stand out, and it brings me like a sense of realness to Rintaro's character, and I think that's a huge credit to the delivery of those lines. And then Miyano impresses me yet again in Steins Gate Zero, where on top of all of that is still there for this character, he's also now dealing with trauma, and he's weak a lot of the time in that show. So credit to Miyano. Rintaro Okabe is a very iconic character in my mind, especially with the way his personality is delivered.
He crushed it.
In all facets and all over the spectrum of emotion, that character is delivered extremely well.
I'm gonna bounce off that because Mamoru Miyano is on my list. But yeah, he has a very distinctive voice. You can always tell Mamoru Miyano is talking, and he gives all of his characters a very particular flair. It's so fascinating, but I think the role that he's most well known for is Light Yagami, of course, in Death Note. But,
and I can see that, yeah.
Yeah, his laugh in that is iconic. And I actually put up a link, if you guys want to play it, of him performing Light live. And if you want to look on YouTube for this clip, just look up Mamoru Miyano Light live or something like that. But
okay, so
it's a good example of how he gets into the mind of this character, because if you pay attention to the little clip in the corner and him talking, he moves along with Light. Like, he becomes him, and it's so fascinating. If you want to
yeah, I'll play it right now. Here we go.
これで邪魔者は全て消えた。他の者は僕を信じきっている。警察を支配するのも時間の問題だ。どうだ、エレン。完全に僕の勝ちだ。僕の勝ちだ。
Jeez. Was he screaming, "I won"? That's my victory. It must be the scene where he beats L because he's screaming that I won, or that's it's my victory. The victory is mine.
Spoiler alert for a very old anime. I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
Yeah. Spoiler alert for
God
halfway
damn it.
through a very old.
I'm just kidding.
Spoilers, bits.
But yeah, you are right.
Yeah. So I went a completely different route,
Here it comes.
as I often do.
No way.
So here's the thing: a couple of things. One, I don't know if I'm tone deaf or if I have some sort of mental disability. I'm sure I have many,
Aww.
I have several different mental disabilities, but one of those is that I'm unable to distinguish between different voices in Japanese. I have
No, it's difficult. It's difficult to do so, Kato.
like I don't know a single Japanese voice actor or what they sound like. I can't really even tell if Japanese acting like in voice is like good or bad because it's like it just sounds like somebody speaking Japanese to me. I don't know. Maybe that's just my ignorance. But so what I did for me personally, when I think of voice acting, I'm thinking I automatically go to like the English voice acting because that's what I know and that's what I
Gotcha.
can distinguish as good or bad because I speak English and I can understand, overall like how they're doing. So what I wanted to do was pick not necessarily the roles, but the actors, like the best or, most popular English anime voice actors.
Top 10, if you would.
You know what? You could say that, Mandy, because it is in fact a top 10.
Oh shit!
Thank you, Mitz. So, number 10.
Oh boy.
Now, what I did here is I didn't want to pick. So I went with like the most popular voice actors. I didn't want to because it's so subjective and it's like, what do I think is good? I mean, there are a couple that I are absolutely, I would consider some of the most talented, but just overall, I wanted to go with like the most popular. So number 10 on my list is a voice actress who we interviewed a couple years
I
back.
think we've interviewed like everybody.
That's true. And her name is Brina Palencia. I don't know if you guys are familiar with her at all.
I remember her because she's a smoking hottie.
She's lovely. She's
Yes.
a very lovely lady, and very talented. And she has worked on just a ton of stuff. Most of these people are like out of Texas. They'll work for like Funimation and things like that. So she's worked on just a bunch of their different shows. Some of the voices.
You mean Sony?
Huh? Oh yeah, because they own them. So some of the voices she's done. Probably one of the most popular is Tony Chopper on One Piece. For those that are fans of One Piece, which is a lot of people. She's worked as Eve in Black Cat, Honoka Sakurai in Suzuka. She was in Hellgirl, Rosario plus Vampire, Black Butler. I mean, she's just been. She was in what now?
Claymore.
Oh yeah, Claymore. I forgot who did she play?
It says Priscilla.
Okay. Yeah, she's been in a ton of stuff. Tokyo Ghoul, Psychopaths. She plays Puar in Dragon Ball Super, which is kind of awesome. But yeah, very talented, has been around for quite some time, and is still very young. It really kind of blows my mind that some of these people are like our age, and they've been doing it for ever. Like, I guess they just get started like right out of high school. But yeah, so that's an easy one. Number 10, Brina Palencia.
We're not gonna have time for 10 of those.
Do you want me to just do the top? Do you
There's
want?
no freaking way.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I'll just do 2 at a time real quick.
Okay, you do 2 at a time, and when we run out
And
of
I'll
time,
be-
we're out of time.
And I'll be quick. Number 9 is Monica Rial.
Yeah, Monica Rial's really famous.
She's also a director and a screenwriter, worked with Funimation for a long time, and also Sentai Filmworks. So she has just been in, a ton of stuff. Noir, let's see, gosh, Initial D, Air. So yeah, she's also, I feel like she's been in a ton of like voice acting roles, but she also does a lot of directing. So a lot of times they'll transition over into directorial work and they'll just jump in on different roles on their shows as needed. So she has, I mean, her IMDb is a mile long. It's ridiculous the amount of work she's done. So, oh, and she was in Steins Gate Zero. Enzo, I know you like Steins Gate. She played
who?
Maho. Which one's that?
Cool.
Which one's Maho?
I actually don't remember.
Okay. Well, never mind then.
I actually don't remember at all, which is I'm ashamed.
The name sounds familiar, but anyways, okay. So those are the 10 and 9. I'll move quickly through mine.
All right, I'm gonna go next. So it's my turn, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sticking with some Ghibli here. For similar reasons, I won't take too much time. Rumi Hiiragi's role as Chihiro in Spirited Away.
Yes, dude.
So Chihiro is almost the only speaking character in the whole movie. So she's doing like the whole damn movie herself. I mean, there is Kohaku, who comes in the movie way later and probably has 5% of the speech that Chihiro has. Then there's Yubaba, who is also a main character, but she doesn't have that much screen time either. Chihiro is literally the whole freaking movie. And she just crushes this role. I mean, the sense of Chihiro being afraid in a strange place, the loss of her parents, the wonder of virtually everything in the movie that she finds, literally from like the spirits to the bathing to the fact that her parents turned into animals to where am I to seeing No Face and Yubaba to having her name taken. Like everything in the movie is just this like emotional experience for Chihiro, and it's practically a solo performance in the movie. And so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time because it's very similar to the last one.
Mm-hmm.
But Rumi Hiiragi crushes it with Chihiro. And, I mean, there probably isn't another Ghibli movie where so much speech is dedicated to a single character as that one. So, 100%. And I'm going to jump in real quick and do another one because that one was quick, and this one will be quick also because this is also Ghibli. This is my last Ghibli pick. And this one's out of left field. Hideaki Anno as Jiro Horikoshi from Kaze Tachinu, The Wind Rises. I thought that Anno did a good job in this movie playing a very serious, realistic character.
Is that the main guy, the main character?
The main character. He's the main character.
I agree with you, man. Yeah.
So I put this on there because one of the uniqueness of the role, because Anno isn't a voice guy. He's a creator. Right, he's not experienced in being a voice actor, but Miyazaki put his faith and respect in Anno when he selected him for this role and said, "I want you to be this guy." And Jiro in the movie, he is really, in a lot of ways, it's almost like an autobiography of Miyazaki or Miyazaki's family, because of the influence of aviation, and a lot of the stuff in the movie is taken from influence from Miyazaki specifically. And I feel like Miyazaki has this soft spot for Anno and said, this is an important role to me, and I want you to be a guy who fills this role. And I thought that Anno did a really good job in the movie, and especially for a guy who doesn't have a lot of experience. So, again, that's my last Ghibli pick on the list, and I just wanted to get it out of the way. But Hideaki Anno, totally surprising that he was even doing that. I got to put him on there. I got to give the guy respect. I gotta put some respect on his name.
Yeah, you sprinkled that respect on there, man. You do it.
And now I step off my pedestal.
Yeah. Okay, I can do like one full one and then a quick shout out too. My next one, going along Kazuo's route, I also wanted to recognize a English performance that I really enjoyed. It's an anime I always come back to, and the anime is Beck. And the character is Koyuki, or Yukio Tanaka, and the voice actor, I believe, is Greg Ayers. I don't have it in front. I should probably have looked that up.
Is.
I'm pretty sure it's Greg Ayers. Yeah. And the reason I think it's really cool that, and the reason I think this role is really cool is because Greg Ayers has to depict a kid who is learning to gain confidence in himself and develop into an adult that is, pretty much born again from his experiences through music. But the cooler part of this VA opportunity, and which is, I guess, and Mandy, you tell me if I'm wrong, but it's not super common that when there's a singing aspect to a show, it's the same voice actor. Is that super? I mean, I feel like it's not as common in English.
It depends, because
right? Yeah.
You're not required. I mean, not everybody who voice acts is a singer.
Correct.
You're not required to it. It really also depends on licensing. If they said no, you have to use the original. they're not gonna dub it.
Full moon sway, baby, all night long.
So exactly. So Greg Ayres does all the singing for Koyuki in the English version. And the moment in I forgot what episode it is, but it's two episodes. It's episode 5 where he first sings the song "Follow Me" with Maho Minami, which is still my waifu number one.
She's so fucking hot.
Do you know the voice actress who played Maho Minami?
I don't know the voice actress who played Maho actually.
Brina Palencia, number 10 on my list.
Snap!
Dude, Maho is she's a fine,
Maho's basically like
she's smoking hottie.
What is Enzo's type? It's like it's Maho and Nana. It's really simple, but yeah. So that was him singing with the undertones of newfound confidence, because that's the first time he sings on a stage in front of people while playing the guitar. There's a motorcycle outside my apartment right now, which sucks. Anyway, then the second time that's really iconic for me is when they go to the Dying Breed show, and the singer of Dying Breed recognizes Koyuki's voice, and he pulls him on stage to sing Moon on the Water, which is probably my favorite song from the anime. And there, Koyuki gets up on stage, he sings it the first time very nervously, and he has to stop because he can't remember the words when he's so nervous, but then he recovers and delivers a very beautifully, emotionally sung Moon on the Water. That I can picture that scene in my head perfectly, frame for frame, and exactly what it sounds like, because it is such a emotional climax for Koyuki, because his favorite band, it's his favorite band stage, and he was given the opportunity to sing his favorite song on stage with them, and he delivers a very sincere and beautiful moment. And that moment stayed with me for a very long time through my own musical thing. So shouts out to Greg Ayres. Thank you for delivering Koyuki super well in English. It really resonated with me. Yep.
All right, Mandy.
So I'm gonna make this one very short, because I'd like to play the clip just so you can hear it. But I have to mention Yuki Kaji, of course, because he's always on the top of lists for voice acting, and there's a reason for that, because he has a very powerful voice. He does get a lot of roles with screaming in them. He plays Eren Yeager, of course, but
God.
He plays very emotionally overcharged characters. And the video link that I chose, because I watch a lot of the live performances for voice acting. They do a lot of live shows and in front of an audience, and this one was from Noragami, and there are other people in this clip too. Of course, Kamiya Hiroshi and the voice actress. Oh, I forgot her name. I'm so sorry. But anyways, but in this one, his how much pain he puts into his voice is so powerful, and it's so much emotion is poured into this the first time he says, "Oh, my cat just moved my mic. I'm so sorry."
Wait, he says that?
No, sorry. She leapt from my lap and knocked into my mic. I'm so sorry. But the first time he says "Gomenasai" is so much emotion in it. It's amazing. But
am I gonna cry?
Oof,
I cry easily.
It gave me chills the very first time he says it.
All right, I'll play it right now. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, watch out for the volume.
俺が何したってんだ。俺は何も悪くねえ。悪いのは俺じゃねえよ。
Maya Uchida, that's her name. Sorry.
みんな俺みたいに死ねばいいんだ。雪音君にはヤトがいるじゃない。雪音君に裏切られて刺され続けてもずっと耐えていたのよ。そんな人をまだ裏切るんならもう友達じゃないからね。友達。
雪音！
お前には人の名を授けた。だから人として生きろ。
生きるんだ！雪音！
Oh, this part here, this kills me.
That was awesome.
That was surprisingly easy to understand.
I love that live performance. It's so that part gave me chills the first time I listened to it.
Yeah, same. I didn't even know what they were saying, but I got goosebumps.
Oh, that first time. He put so much emotion into his characters. He's really amazing.
Yeah, that first good minute I was.
I think I got aroused.
I just felt some shit just now. Just
in your pants. Do you feel it?
You felt some shit in your pants? What?
I felt some shit.
I think you should go take care of something.
Maybe the bathroom.
That's how good the voice acting was that I just shat myself, boys.
Yeah. Whoa!
So good that his sphincter
so
just
good that I had to release.
His finger just opened up and released everything.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my.
That's troublesome.
I have another one that you don't have to play the clip to, but I do want to mention was just because there's so much backstory to it, which was Kamiya Hiroshi. Of course, he's my favorite voice actor, but I have to mention his role as Izzy and Derrida. And the reason why there's backstory to that is because he was originally casted to play Mikado, but after reading the novels, Kamiya went into the office and begged them to let him play Izaya, and because he thought I could bring so much to this character. Bring so much of him to life, and he asked them, please give me a chance. And so they switched him over because he was so adamant about it. And when he went in to record the scene with Izaya on the roof, giving Rio a speech, the scene wasn't even done yet. The storyboard, they didn't even have storyboards. They just had a picture of Izaya in front of a moon, and he still went through with it. And he put so much charm and just this playful attitude, like manipulative, confident. He nailed the like psychotic part of Izaya. And I think the best voice acting is when you can't imagine anybody else possibly having that playing that character.
Super agree. That's the pinnacle right there.
100% his role in this. Because in voice acting, of course you have a script, but you don't always, stick 100% to that script. There's also ad-libbing, and he was like, I know exactly how I want to portray this character, and he turned Izaya into his own creation. And I really think he's one of the reasons that show is so popular.
Maybe Izaya is a very loved character for all his flaws.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, a beloved asshole, because everyone's like, we all know Izaya is a terrible character.
He's a terrible human being,
but man, he played him so well.
Yeah, exactly.
We're pretty much out of time, so I'm just gonna run through my honorable mentions, I guess. I have Enomoto Atsuko and Yukino Miyazawa from Kare Kano. They have from His Inner Circumstances. There's a lot of like emotional explosion in that. Like there's a lot of just crying and just as the two of them sort of fight for their relationship, because the people in the school don't want them to be together because their grades are suffering. It's just a really two powerful roles. Shinobu Yuta and Takumi, played by Yuji Ueda, Takako Konda, and Tomokazu Sugita from Honey and Clover. Those three college boys they drive the story of Honey and Clover, and there's a lot of like, Honey and Clover is just like some of the most masterful voice acting you're ever going to see. Yui Ishikawa as Violet from Violet Evergarden. That voice acting was superb as well, and the complexity of Violet in that show required equally as difficult voice acting, and she really did a great job. And also, I really enjoyed Yang Wen Lee's role from the new Legend of the Galactic Heroes. I thought that they did a really good job with his voice as well. It was acted well. Suzumura Kenichi did that role. So those are all of my honorable mentions that I wrote down.
Yeah, I got two more that I want to mention. Well, three really. I have all the voice acting from the show Kimi no Irumachi, A Town Where You Live. I have a thing for when I can tell like rural accents from Japan. If you want to hear really nice rural accents, that anime has a really nice like crunch to it. Same deal with Sakamichi no Apollo, which is Kids on the Slope. I love all their voices. They sound like you know where they're from, even though you have no idea where they're from. Like it's I love the not usual Japanese we get in anime when you watch these two. And then I want to shout out basically like all the anime that are like Tatami Galaxy or the Monogatari series, because when you can speak 90 miles an hour, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
I was almost going to put up
cool.
the tongue twister that Kamiya does from the Monogatari series.
Right, exactly. Because you're just like how does your mouth move like that? When I watched Tatami Galaxy for the first time, I was like, what is happening? Like, why is this narrator just going off on me? But it's still something to be admired that you can deliver lines at that speed while maintaining emotion, while maintaining phrasing, while maintaining the message you're meant to be reading. So shouts out to those three things, and long live voice actors, man.
And I guess I'm just okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
All right, I was just gonna read off the rest of my list basically, because I only said number 10 and number 9.
Quote unquote Cosmo's list.
I mean, a list.
We need a drop for this.
Yeah. So number 8 is I don't know how to pronounce her name. Cherami Lee, I think is how you pronounce it. But she did Lucy in Fairy Tail. She was Asuna in Sword Art Online, so that's probably what she's known most for. Sailor Venus in Sailor Moon, so she's done a bunch of stuff. That's number 8. Number 7 is J. Michael Tatum, who has been in literally everything you could possibly think of and has been around since forever. So he was Rintaro in Steins Gate, and God, just a billion other things. So if you know anything about English voice acting, you've heard his name. Oran High School Host Club, Black Butler. He was in Free. He played Ray in Free, so that's cool. Number 7 is Laura Bailey, who is amazing.
Who is amazing.
And
Literally
yeah,
amazing.
I met her a long time ago at an anime convention, and she was super cool, really nice. But she's out doing more video game stuff, but she's been in a ton of anime. She got her start right out of while she was in college. She started working for Funimation.
Check out her Jaina delivery in WoW these days.
Yeah, I shared that on Twitter.
Yes,
true.
Because Mandy showed me one of her recent songs she sang for a while, and oh my god,
yeah,
it's great.
She's a great singer as well. She played Lust in Full Metal Alchemist. She played Shin-chan in Crayon Shin-chan, so which is hilarious. If you listen to that, it's brilliant. So she's been in a billion different things. Next up is where am I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Todd Habercorn, who has also been in a bunch of stuff. He's Hetalia, Oran High School Host Club, Soul Eater. He played Death the Kid. A bunch of stuff. Number 4, Colleen Klinkenbeard, also really known for her directorial work as an ADR director. She worked on Full Metal Alchemist. She played Luffy in One Piece, which is probably what she's known most for. Played young Goku and Gohan in Dragon Ball Z Kai. So a bunch of stuff there. Number 3, Johnny Young Bosch, who I also met a long time ago. Cool dude. Used to be a Power Ranger. He was the second Black Ranger.
He was.
And then he went on to be in a billion different anime. He was in oh god, what's it called? The one where the dude's like surfing in the sky and there's mechs. What's the name of that anime?
Eureka 7.
Yes, Eureka 7. He was the main character in Eureka 7. He
also plays Izaya in the dub of Derrida.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. He plays Sasori in Bleach. He's been, I'm sorry, in Naruto. He plays Ichigo in Bleach, the main character. And Vash the Stampede. He was Kaneda in Akira. He's been in everything. Number 2.
Not originally.
No, not originally. He was a baby when that original came out. Number 2 is Vic. God damn it. How do you say his
Mignana.
Mignana. Thank you. I always want to say Vic McEggnog.
It's Vic Mignana.
Mignana. Okay. Yeah. So who was Edward Elric in Full Metal Alchemist, of course. Oddly enough, Broly in the Dragon Ball Z movies, which is hilarious because you don't think his voice being able to do that, but it's He
also dubbed some pretty mean werewolf porn. Don't forget about that.
Oh, that was hilarious.
That's actually on Amazon. You can buy that.
Yeah, he was God.
Hey, it's on Amazon. I'm sorry. I'm just stating the facts.
It exists. And he reads the Bible while he plays piano and sells that at cons. Or I don't know if he sells it or gives it away.
He sells it.
Yeah. That's kind of whatever. Hey.
He's a very talented guy. I just can't get over the werewolf porn.
Yeah. But he's been in a bunch of stuff. And number 1 is Christopher Sabat.
How does Steve Bloom not make this list?
What the hell?
So
There's no Matt Mercer?
No Matt Mercer?
Matt Mercer's definitely. I'm
Steve
sorry.
Bloom?
I love Matt Mercer, but he's not in the
Steve
top
Bloom's
10
been in
of all time. What? Steve Bloom for sure. He should have been. I don't know.
For sure, yeah.
I don't know why he's not on the list, but
wow.
But
maybe because he does mostly video games. But anyway.
Yeah. But Chris Sabat, who played Piccolo and Vegeta and Yamcha and like all in the same show. And just dude's been around forever and has worked in, he's been doing this since the 90s, which is insane when you think about it.
I'm surprised Crispin Freeman wasn't on that list too.
Yeah.
Agreed. Especially with his portrayal of Winston in Overwatch, it's ridiculous.
Well, that's a video game.
Oh, he's been in tons of anime.
Right. I'm just saying. I'm saying specifically Overwatch.
All right, guys. Does anybody else have honorable mentions left?
My last one is Kazuhiko Inoue from his role as Nyanku Sensei in Natsume, because he has such amazing range. Meow. Because Nyanku Sensei has two different voices, the cute little cat one, and then this really deep voice that he uses for his yokai form, and he does both voices. And if you hear them alongside each other, they sound nothing alike. I love that role. But that was it.
All right, someone read the trivia question.
With graduation already causing its own shared anxieties, their sudden arrival brings these students' carefree days to an abrupt end. Long forgotten memories, deeply buried emotions, and inspiring new passions. Everything is brought to light in their bittersweet final semester. And the question is, what is that anime? And we'll answer it after the break.
Hey, all you anime addicts out there, Mitsuki's back, and it's time for your second dose of anime news. Leading us off, the Anime Tourism Association has finally announced their anime pilgrimage sites for 2019. They do this every year as an effort to have people go to different parts of Japan to help the tourism industry inside the country. And it looks like this list features 20 new anime series, including A Place Further Than the Universe, Laid Back Camp, Sword Art Online Ordinal Scale, and others. There are also classic pilgrimage spots on the list as well, such as Hanasaku Iroha's Yuwaku Onsen, and also various places from the Melancholy of Haru Suzumiya, including Nishinomiya City and Hyogo Prefecture. There was some criticism about the list back in 2018 about the difference between the anime that people actually wanted to see put on the list and the anime that ended up making it on the list, which sort of created some suspicion about foul play going on in terms of which anime were selected. But it looks like this is not the case this year, and the Anime Tourism Association has said that that was mostly due to difficulty getting the rights cleared with all the intellectual property owners within a short period of time. But they have fixed the problem for this year, so the anime pilgrimage list is good to go. You can find it online, look up the anime pilgrimage sites for 2019, and maybe you can make your way to a couple of these. Next up, we have some goofy news. Hugto Precure, Futariwa Precure All-Stars Memories crossover film is coming out in Japan, and pretty much it already did. I think it was this past weekend. And it looks like the Guinness Book of World Records has recognized this film as setting the world record for, quote, most magical warriors in an anime film, which I don't even know why that's in the Guinness Book of World Records. It makes no sense to me at all. It looks like there are a total of 55 different precures in this film. And at the event in Tokyo, during the screening in the theaters, they're going to be having the actual award from Guinness Book on display until November 7th. So if you happen to be in Japan until November 7th and you want to go see this award, you can do it. Otherwise, just know that there are really goofy things in the Guinness Book of World Records. Next up, Animax, the app on the PlayStation service, is ending in January. So the official website for Animax on PlayStation announced on January 8th they're going to be terminating the service. The company will both stop selling the 14-day free trials and also the 30-day paid vouchers. So they had 170 different anime that were available for paid members and also a selection of anime that were free as well. But just know that this is no longer going to be available after the first week of January, so you better get your anime watching in while you can. And we'll catch you up lastly on some Nintendo news. It looks like Nintendo is reporting that the Nintendo Switch has already overtaken the GameCube's lifetime sales totals. The Nintendo Switch has sold 22.8 million units of hardware worldwide as of September 30th, and the company has also stated that they have sold 111 million copies of software for the Switch, which is quite a lot. So it looks like the Switch has made some pretty big strides since the console launched worldwide back in March of 2017. So pretty good stuff. For those of you that are fans of Nintendo and of the Switch, looks like it's going to keep on rolling. This was Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break. Now, once again, time to get back to the podcast.
Hey, Mitz, what's the website?
Oh, Enzo, you'll never believe this.
What? Oh, no.
JList.com is going to release a Church of Mitsugi PC game. Hello. It's called Moe Stomp Stomp Deluxe Edition.
Deluxe?
It's a turn-based RPG where you go on a quest to rid the world of Moe girls. I commissioned it from JList.
I didn't know JList.com sold anime PC games.
Oh yeah, Enzo. JList.com and Just USA are the same company. They sell hundreds of English language visual novels such as Fate Stay Night and Steins Gate, and they have adult games as well.
And Moe Stomping games.
Moe Stomping is not a game. It's life, Enzo. Life.
Right. Oh, I see. They have the new Mad Pompadour 12 Good Hair Days. Let's get that for Kazuo.
JList.com, your home for all your Moe Stomping and Pompadour game needs. Oh, and most other anime games as well.
Hi, this is Tiffany Grant. Remember me? Asuka Langley Soryu. Anyway, I'm a total anime addict, and if you're not listening to Anime Addicts Anonymous, what are you, stupid?
And now, great moments in Anime Addicts Anonymous history.
Do they make reverse kotatsus? A kotatsu that is cooling instead of heating. Just be like, I'm just going to sit underneath here and chill my balls, you know?
That's called a refrigerator.
Oh, yeah. I don't
It's
know.
called a refrigerator.
Putting my balls in your refrigerator.
Just open your refrigerator, stick your leg up on like the countertop with your balls just like hanging free.
One day you're going to walk into your kitchen and you're just going to see my bare ass sticking out of your fridge.
Your 14-year-old daughter comes home with her friend from school, and Dad is just sitting in the kitchen with his hairy ass and his balls hanging down in front of the fridge. Like, Dad, not again!
No, he's sitting on the floor in the living room, and he's brought the fridge with him, and he's like laid it down on top of his body.
Come, let's sit around the reverse kotatsu together, children.
My Lord's in heaven.
That would be amazing.
Can it be a father-son edition where the son is on a platform?
That's the advertisement.
And he's cooling his balls too in the freezer.
Right. Yes, exactly. And then you have the kid standing underneath.
So the dad's balls are hanging on top of the little kid?
They're not touching them.
It's kind of like an intimate tea bag.
Yeah, he's going under the bridge.
And now, back to the podcast.
What have we done?
And welcome back
What
to
was
the
that,
446th episode of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast, and you are brought back into the sweet sounds of Mozart's Chopin. Mozart did not write nocturnes. Chopin's Nocturne, Opus 9, number 1.
Guys,
that was art, Enzo. That was high
That
art.
was a reverse
Is that
kotatsu.
When I'm not on the show, is that what goes down? Is that what happens? That you guys let the podcast devolve to this?
Hey, I had a legitimate question to begin with.
I was the one that drove that.
And then
to
it
madness.
just went off the rails.
Speaking about kotatsus, I was literally on JList looking up the kotatsu because I'm probably gonna buy it from them.
Yep.
And you guys dropped that drop. It was way.
Why don't you just build one?
Just build one.
Yeah.
Do you know?
They're not very expensive. They're really cheap, so you probably spend more money building it than just buying one. It's only $100. All right, someone read the intro trivia question.
I got it. We asked you guys before the break to guess which anime this is. So here's the synopsis. With graduation already causing its own share of anxieties, their sudden arrival brings these students' carefree days to an abrupt end. Long forgotten memories, deeply buried emotions, and inspiring new passions. Everything is brought to light in their bittersweet final semester. That anime, which I loved until the last fucking episode, god damn it, is Just Because.
Well, oh, Neil just jumped up on the table.
And there's a cat here now. And on that note, here comes your 5-star review.
Well, I can't do anything.
We're getting attacked by cats everywhere.
It's time for iTunes review.
All right. So, thank you for moving the cat out of the way of the monitor, Mitz, so now I can read this. Of course, you can leave us a 5-star review by heading on over to iTunes and, leaving us a 5-star review. Just like, ooh, this is a hell of a name. Why are all the nicknames taken?
Why are all the nicknames taken?
So why are all the nicknames taken? Writes in and says 5 Mitsugi and others over 5 Mitsugi and others. Like, oh my God, Neil just deleted. What happened?
It's on the next page.
Who did
Somebody
that?
moved it.
Cat attack.
The cat. All right, it says here, it's an insightful weekly anime, obviously, podcast around, I didn't say obviously, he wrote obviously. God damn it, Mitz, stop moving things. I'm trying to read. All right.
Good Lord, just read it.
I can't. You just moved it to a different page. All right, here we go. It's an insightful weekly anime podcast around 2 hours long, plenty of content to watch, and even more if you join the subscription service. The podcast has a great cast of Mitsuki and his friends. Oh, hell no. Did he just Gilligan's
Mitsuki,
Island
this is your
and the
account.
rest us? Did you
make
change this,
account,
Mitz?
Did you do this?
Did you edit this?
This
You son of a
is
bitch.
a screen cap right out of iTunes.
You bastard.
Oh, it is a screen cap.
Mitsuki and his friends. Friends is a strong word. Why are all the nicknames taken?
Colleagues. Mitsuki
Yeah.
and his colleagues. Yeah.
Coworkers.
Mitsuki's acquaintances.
Yeah, his acquaintances. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you guys make me miss this football game, I will kill all 3 of you. Read the goddamn review.
The podcast does everything from anime reviews to anime news to anime games to shameful self-promotion.
Nice.
At AAAPodcast.com/join. One rule to remember is Mitsugi is... Oh, hell no. Why am I reading this garbage?
Jesus Christ.
Mitsugi is 95% of the time right.
Wow, does it really say that?
That's what it says. Did you write this, Mitsugi? Of course I know Mitsugi's friends. Queen of the voice actors Manfish?
What? I am so
Mr. Pure Romance Enzyme?
Kami-sama... Wait, hold on. What the... Kami-sama Mitsugi
Oh my god!
and Mr. Toru Hagakure... He put
Kazuho?
Kazuho?
Kazuho.
Who is this person? I will fight this man. Lastly, the ancient Magus Bride is not a slice of life. You're going to put the ancient Magus Bride and Haikyuu in the same category?
Okay.
What the actual
Lord.
fuck?
That is probably the...
I love it.
It's the funniest,
I love it.
funniest 5-star review you've ever had. Thank
That's
you.
the worst.
That was
You're the
man.
worst.
What's a Kazuho?
Enzyme and Kazuho.
Manfish? Is that like old Greg? I'm old Greg.
What is a manfish?
Well, it's half man, half fish.
Am I a
obviously.
banana fish now?
You're a mermaid.
You are the banana fish, Mandy.
You're a
I
mermaid.
am
This is
the banana
ridiculous.
fish.
Holy
Today,
shit, that was
we're going to
so
be doing
funny.
impressions.
Impression time, believe it!
We got 5 impressions for you today. They better be short. I'm a certain Magical Index 3, FLCL Alternative, Derrida. And that time I got reincarnated as a slime, and Hinomaru Sumo. I'm going to go ahead and say Derrida is first.
Yeah, I wonder why you say that. Yeah, so Derrida is a sci-fi anime about the synopsis is so long, but basically Derrida Vane is a scientist, and he helps create AI robots that kind of go a little haywire, and the military kind of wants to be able to use. He doesn't like that, and then he tries to fix this bug that is going on in the software. The government doesn't want him to do that, or someone doesn't want him to do that, and therefore he is chased, runs away, randomly falls into a factory he was led to by a vision of his friend Mage, and gets frozen for 10 years, and then wakes up 10 years later and realizes that his technology is being used for bad or whatever. And the reason I so unenthusiastically summarize that is because this show doesn't really offer too much. I was very, very not entertained for 3 episodes.
Are you not entertained?
I am not entertained.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thanks for asking. I like the premise on paper. It's written way better than I described it. I like the premise on paper. I always like giving sci-fi a chance. Sci-fi to me is one of the most important genres that we as a human race have. It does not execute well at all. It has a lot of what I call forced conflict. And you can see this in episode 1 if you guys want to watch it. In episode 1, and I would like you guys to watch this episode and then let me know in like by messaging me or something what you think. But the first episode, they're being chased they're like driving away really fast in a car. They have this conversation in a car, and all of a sudden, like his friend Nathan forgets how to drive and just like rams them into the side of the highway, and then they flip 4 million times, and they both don't die from this. And that serves to them getting caught and Derrida running away. I think scenes like that in anime immediately make me uninterested because that was a car crash for convenience and therefore forced drama for the writing. So it kind of takes me out. The art in this anime is a little subpar. Sound design, very, very crispy. Very crispy. Yeah. Explosions sound crispy. Little ticks sound really crispy too. Really good sound design. Unfortunately, everything around the sound design is either generic or not interesting. It's currently sitting at a 6 on my anime list. So, unfortunately, Derrida, another sci-fi that I will not be passing. Sorry.
That is one big pile of shit.
Dino DNA.
All right, I'm just going to go next here. I'm doing Toaru Majutsu no Index 3. Toaru Majutsu no Index 3 is a continuation of the JC Staff anime of the same title. And it's mostly about a city called Academy City where there's a lot of magic users, and they rank them 1 through 5 based on their power level. I guess this is 0 too, which I think means you have no power. But based on the level of your psychic ability, you are ranked 1 through 5. So, like, for example, Misaka Mikoto, who is the railgun from a certain scientific railgun, is a 5. And I think there's actually a 6 in one of those anime. And he's like...
There's always a 6.
Something. One person.
Yeah.
And then they fight them. But, like, most of the people aren't a 5. So there's, like, a handful. And then... But most people are 0s. This anime, I'm just going to say right off the top, I was a little disappointed by it for a number of reasons. One, I think I'm used to like a very high standard set by the Railgun animes, which is very crisp looking show with really energetic music, with a lot of action scenes that are really up my alley. This anime was, I don't know if it's because it's the 3rd season and like it's run its course and the funding is down or whatever, but like the story moved very quickly. It was very disjointed. Like there's a religious organization that's located in Europe that wants to this is my understanding of the show because I felt like clearly I needed to watch the first 2 seasons of this. The religious organization in Europe is trying to put down Academy City because Academy City is full of like espers and magic users, and obviously the religious groups don't like that. And so they send the main character of the show, Toma, to basically go through some kind of a
take on
me.
Take on me.
He has an ability called the the Imagine Breaker, which can like negate people's abilities. But other than that, from what I saw, he doesn't do a whole lot. So they go to Europe and they're like investigating or taking care of business or whatever. The show just did a lot of things I didn't like. First of all, it's loaded with ecchi, which I thought was really unfortunate. One of the main characters is a girl who fights with like a spear thing, and she's got her like top is freaking like open. Like I swear, like there's no. If this was real life, her titties would just be straight out.
Go on.
I mean, she's a hot looking character, but like her titties are just literally out there. I felt like I was watching High School DxD. There's also a scene where he falls out of an airplane, lands in a river, and he's like drowning. And then that same girl jumps in there and saves him. And it's just like they took the.
Does she use her boobs as flotation devices?
She might as well have. Basically, they used that entire situation to show her in wet clothing. And it was just like the whole reason why he fell off out of the airplane, I feel like, was basically so they could show her in a wet shirt.
Right.
Yeah. Later on in the show, they spend probably half of the first 3 episodes fighting a guy who is, I don't even remember his name, but he's one of the religious groups, and he has like an interesting ability where he can say that like one substance takes precedent over another substance. So he could like throw some flour at you. I think he uses flour. He'd throw like flour at you, and he'd say like, flour over skin, and that means like if he hits you with if he hits the flour, hits your skin, it's gonna like go right through you and kill you. So he can do that with like spears, like whatever he wants. He could be like, oh, flour over spear. So he'll throw flour at you and it'll like make your spear bend because it's like more. The fight scene was not up my alley. Like I'm more used to watching like the railgun fire coins at cars and making the cars fly through the air and shit. Like cool things like that happening. I'm not really real into like the religious tones in anime, especially when they're really superficial and they're just there to look cool. The story was completely disjointed, and I honestly found myself not knowing what the hell was going on. And honestly, I didn't think it looked very good. I didn't really think it looked very impressive either. And the main character is really lame. I mean, he basically has very little personality. He's one of those, like, I'm too cool for everybody, so my personality is, like, I'm basically going to be dry as hell and not be excitable or interesting whatsoever. I'm much more used to having Misaka Mikoto, the railgun, in these anime, and who is very lively and has a great personality, and then like her friends, which are also like, you know, this lively band of girls that she hangs out with. Not really used to you know, the Imagine Breaker dude. And so like I was really disappointed. I was kind of hoping for more of a railgun type show. The railgun girl wasn't really in this at all, and people that like follow this series are going, well, no shit, it's not about her. I'm sure that's what they're saying. They're screaming at their computers. They're like screaming in the gym and everybody's looking at them. But this was, out of the 5 shows I had, I enjoyed this one by far the least, which is not what I expected. And so I was disappointed by it. If you haven't seen the other 2 shows, forget it. You're not gonna understand what's going on. I hope, because otherwise, if that's not the case, then this just has horrific writing. Like if this is really self-contained and they just want, and you can just jump in on the 3rd season. Then they display it for you in a way that you have no shot of understanding. So it's failing, and wasn't loving it. I was not. No, God! No, God, please! No! I was watching that.
I know.
No. Michael Scott is upset.
No! It's not that loud on the computer.
It was at first.
Oh, okay, good.
So basically, I even watched just while I was eating like a plate of I was eating corned beef hash, well done, from my diner, which is incredible.
Gotcha.
Their corned beef hash is amazing. Scrambled eggs with cheddar. I got dry wheat toast with 2 extra slices and a side of their really, really thick cut bacon that I was making bacon egg sandwiches out of, with coffee, and I still didn't enjoy this anime.
Damn, you
which
were in your
tells you
happy
something.
place, man.
I was feasting while I watched this, and I was like, nah, not loving it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like that ass in his happy place.
I was into my dry wheat toast more than I was into this anime.
Wow.
So, moving on.
Who's next?
I could go next if you guys want to go.
Mandy,
last.
do you have one?
Yeah, I do.
You want to?
Mine was Hinomaru Sumo, and just in the interest of time, I wrote down notes, and I'm just gonna straight read through them, just to make this go faster. But so Hinomaru Sumo is a shonen show about sumo wrestling. It's a manga adaptation by Studio Gonzo, who has done a whole lot, but doesn't really have like too many really highly rated shows, I think. Welcome to the NHK is one of their more popular ones, I think. But the director Konosuke Uda, who also directed One Piece, and it also oh yeah, sorry. The director was Konosuke Uda. Sorry, I lost my place. Hinomaru Sumo follows high school kid Ushio Hinomaru, who has a real passion for sumo wrestling. The first episode starts with him capturing a train groper and ending up in the wrong train stop. He wanders into a different school and meets Shinya Ozeki, who also has a passion for sumo wrestling. And Ushio stumbles upon Shinya practicing outside, and they strike up a conversation with him. Ushio tells him that he wants to be the best sumo wrestler in Japan, of course. But Shinya tells him that he finds out that Shinya has been being bullied by some of the other guys at the school, and the only person who has any interest in sumo wrestling at that school, but he wants to start up a team. And long story short, Ushio ends up challenging one of these bullies and defeats him in a contest. And at the end of the episode, Ushio decides to transfer to their school so they can start up a team together. And the next episode is a very classic, we need more members for our team episode. And so they recruit Yuma, who is the bully Ushio defeated, and Kei, who is a really short character who wants to succeed as being a wrestler. Kunisaki, who used to be on the wrestling team, and Suji, who wants to be the team's advisor. And then the third episode is the new team practicing against a rival It's been a while and I haven't caught up with it, but I did read some of the manga. And despite it being a very, very typical shonen, I really enjoyed the manga. The author is a fan of Kuroko no Basuke, and he inserts those edgy tones, which works well for a very aggressive sport. And the manga had a lot of action in it, and that's mostly the reason why I was reading it, because I really enjoyed the art in the manga. But however, this adaptation is not easy to watch. The animation doesn't capture the intensity of those scenes, in my opinion. It's very obvious when someone else has been working on the action scenes, because the wrestling matches have the characters drawn these very black, kind of messy black lines, but the scenes outside the matches have more subtle lines, and I don't think they blend well together, and it's very noticeable, at least for me. There isn't really anything new. I do think it's interesting to watch if you have an interest in sumo wrestling, but keep in mind that the rules may be accurate, but the moves have like Kuroko's style names to them. And the show's also skipping around the manga. I'm going to assume it's probably because they weren't sure if they're going to get a second season or not. But I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's very similar to other shows. And the matches aren't as well animated as I would have liked. I really think my reaction to this would have been a lot different if someone like Production IG picked this up. But I am failing Hinomaru Sumo, but I think if you like being in that shonen sports comfort zone, then you should check it out and try it and see if it's something that might be up your alley.
Shame. 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 Shame.
Shame.
All right. I guess I'll go next, and then Enzo, you can bring us home.
Sure.
So the show I will be doing an impression on is a little show called That Time I Got Reincarnated as a...
Oh, shit!
The biggest surprise.
well, let's see. Let's find out. So a quick synopsis, straight off of Crunchyroll. Just a couple sentences here.
I'm too over this shit.
Hold on, miss. Let me get to it. It's corporate worker Mikami Satoru is stabbed by a random killer and is reborn into an alternate world.
Oh my god!
But he turns out to be reborn as a slime. For those that are familiar with Dragon Quest. Thrown into this new world with the name Rimuru, he begins his quest to create a world that's welcoming to all races. So, in case you couldn't tell, this is a show about someone who gets transported into another world, namely a video game style world, which is something we see pretty much every season. I feel like there's at least one, sometimes two, sometimes three different shows that are all about people getting transported into another world. It is a very tired and played out idea. However, this show does it better than I've seen in a very, very long time. I went into this like, oh boy, here we go again, another one of these isekais, and I had a damn good time watching it. And
oh my god!
I haven't watched it, but I've been reading the manga, and I was so surprised.
This show is awesome. It's so much fun.
It's so wholesome.
It's right. So I'm blown away. I'm just...
Wait a second. Wholesome. I saw a GIF on Twitter
of
4 girls smashing their titties into the slime.
That's true.
But
all right. So the main
Tsundere dragon.
This is true. Oh my god, he's the best. So the show. So it starts off, as I mentioned in the synopsis, this guy, he's like a 35-year-old or something like that, just a businessman in Japan, and he has never had a girlfriend, and he's a virgin, and he's kind of like a nerdy kind of guy, and he meets one of his kohais.
If I have it happen by 35,
huh?
I don't know if it's gonna happen.
I don't know if it's gonna happen. Hey, it might. You never know. You can get,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, save up some money. Do what you got to do, bro.
Well, I mean, you can get a soap land.
I'm not judging. So anyway, he meets one of his fellow coworkers, who's like a younger coworker, his kohai, on the street one day, and the kohai is introducing him to his girlfriend or whatever, or his fiance, I think. And at that moment, a random dude with a knife comes running down the street, and so the main character pushes his kohai out of the way and takes the knife like to the back. It like stabs him like right in the back. And
probably not kill you, but okay.
Well, yeah, it did. So he bleeds out and he's dying, and then he gets transported into this other world. He wakes up, and of course, as I mentioned, he is a slime, which is one of those little tiny bubbly kind of blue creatures that you see in Dragon Quest.
Do you think this is like a Buddhist influence? Like when you die?
It is.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and they do briefly touch on reincarnation.
Well, he must have been a bad person.
Well, yeah. Well, but it turns out the slime that he was reincarnated in is actually pretty freaking powerful and has a
Kirby.
lot. It's Kirby. Yeah, he absorbs things around him and gains their abilities. So like he'll absorb different herbs and gain the ability to like create potions out of them or to heal people. He'll absorb monsters and gain their abilities, their strengths.
Herb.
Huh?
Herb.
Yes, herb.
Herb.
Isn't it herb?
That's the proper English way, the herb, because it has an H.
Right, but
No,
I was making a weed joke.
Oh, okay. But in like American
gotcha.
English, it's pronounced herb, right? Am I crazy?
No,
Yeah,
you're
it's
not.
herb. It's
Okay.
American, yeah.
Has my whole life been a lie? So
The British is herb. So.
Okay. Well, I mean, look, they may have started the English language, but we made it.
We
better.
finished it, damn it.
We butchered it.
We-
Thank
we-
you.
We made it cooler.
improved upon it. We iterated upon it.
You are so welcome,
Oh
world.
my god.
No. So he starts absorbing all this stuff. He's in a cave and he meets this dragon, as Mandy mentioned, who's a tsundere dragon who's like been locked in this cave.
Is she
Oh,
hot?
I love him.
What? It's a giant ass dragon.
Oh, is it hot?
I mean, if you're into giant male
I mean,
dragons.
he's cute.
What if I am?
I mean, I'm just saying, if you are, then there you go.
God.
But he is adorable because
dare
it's
you.
just giant badass dragon, and he's like he's like yelling at him to leave, and then when he's like about to leave, he's like, I mean, if you leave if you want to or whatever, but I don't care. It's so obvious he wants them to hang out because he hasn't had anybody around for like, I think he said like 100 years or something like that, and so he kind of befriends him, and then. I was a little confused at this part, Mandy, and maybe you can help me out here. Did he absorb the dragon?
I think so that he could carry him out. I've only read the first volume. So
Yeah.
I'm not quite.
Because he kind of absorbs him, and then he just disappears. And I'm like, I guess he just ate him? I don't know.
I think he can release him.
Yeah, and so he then leaves the cave and like goes and finds like a village of orcs. Are they orcs?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Goblins.
goblins. Thank you. But they are kind of like downtrodden, and they're low level goblins and stuff, and they're being attacked constantly by this pack of like basically dire wolves. And so he kind of like helps them out, and then brings them all together to work together.
It's so cute.
Like it's adorable. Like he's uniting people, and then he does a thing where he names the goblins because they're all low level, so they don't have names. They're just like random goblin 1, random goblin 2, and he's like, your name is gonna be whatever, and he names him. And when he does, the goblin like becomes like super jacked and like levels up because it's given a name. And he does the same for all the wolves and all the goblins, but apparently it uses all of his magic to do so. So he like falls into a coma and then wakes up a couple days later. So, really, the first 3 episodes, I feel like that's really all that happens. Is like he helps them build their little village and unites them together, and then they kind of go off on a mission to do something. I forget. It's been a little while since I watched it, but it is just, it's funny, it's fun, it's sweet, it's endearing. I'm just really enjoying this show. Like I just want to hang out with these characters in this world, and that is something I didn't think I would be saying about.
I was expecting complete trash when I got the manga, and when I started it, the one part when he wakes up and he's blind, he's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I guess I'll just keep eating grass.
Yes, it's so great.
And he's like, wait, I don't poop. Where's it all going?
Oh my god, it's amazing.
I loved it. I was like, all right, I'm
Must be
in.
done.
Valid
This-
questions you would ask if you were a slime all of a sudden.
So obviously it goes without saying, contrary to what I anticipated, I am passing this show with flying colors.
I don't think I've ever been this excited. You're excited? Feel these nipples.
All right.
I'm so glad to hear that you passed that. I didn't think you. I haven't tried it, but I didn't think you would based on the isekai premise.
I'm just so used to hating everything that it's weird when I like something. I don't understand this feeling.
Tiger, did you notice that?
What's that?
Tiger from Monster Hunter.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
It looks just like him.
Are you up, Enzo?
Yep.
Yes.
So I'm up. Yeah, and I am going to be talking about FLCL Alternative. FLCL FLCL, in case no one ever put that together for you. I would say it's a very infamously beloved anime. I think people really enjoy it for the spectacle that it is. The story, there is a story, but you know, it's mostly, most people that I know FLCL is mostly because of a random spectacle. And the reason that I wanted I wanted this show for myself was that they were going to take the angle of 4 female protagonists as a group and a story from there on. And I thought that was cool, because usually we're used to the one main lead, and now we're going to have 4 girls from high school, you know, taking the reins, and the story's going to be rolling around them. And it didn't disappoint. That aspect did not disappoint. I like the 4 girls. I like the way they talk to each other. They feel very close. I like the moment where they team up to get something done, even if it's a simple task like building a bottle rocket. They get hyped. They hype each other up. They pick each other up. They have their flaws. The world is presented in a really cool way. And so like, in that aspect, I like the characters. I like them. I like the 4 girls. What disappoints me about FLCL Alternative, which doesn't sound like a disappointment, is that it's too much stop and go for me when it comes to the spectacle. Because for every moment where I'm like, oh cool, these 4 characters are about to enter or about to take another step to being even closer friends, like in that moment the random FLCL shit happens where, like, I don't know, like the girl, like random monster attacks, and then I forgot her name, but pink-haired girl comes out of nowhere. What was that?
Haruko.
Yep.
Yes, exactly. So she comes. Well, the main girl. I think I was so out of it watching this thing that I don't even remember the
You were
character's
blazed.
name, but
Sounds about right for FLCL.
yeah, exactly. So, and I was trying. I was trying. So what happens is monsters attack. Main girl of the group of 4 grows a flower out of her head. Then main FLCL girl, pink-haired girl, comes through, pulls the flower out of this girl's head. It turns into a guitar, a different guitar every time, and then she uses that guitar and the variation of that guitar, like whether it's a gun or a sword or whatever, to then defeat the monster. And that's basically all that really happens in the first 3 episodes. It's like really cool close friend interaction, and very raw like friend interaction, like the kind of interaction that like I would have with my fellow co-hosts here, like close friend interaction, like, you know, like shitting on each other, like complimenting each other, like very raw friendship, which is nice to see portrayed in anime, because usually a lot of friendships come out very standard in anime, to not say the word boring, very standard in anime. So it's nice to see them shooting the shit, but for every time they shoot the shit, like the FLCL comes in and random stuff happens. Flowers are being pulled out of someone's head and turned into a guitar, and yes, I like the animation, and yes, it is, although it's not a spectacle level, it's very good choreography. But when the premise is established as these 4 girls, I kind of want it more. I kind of wanted that to be a thing, and like I said, it's stop and go. It starts to be a thing, it stops, craziness happens, it resolves, it comes again, stops, craziness happens, it gets resolved. And I just don't really have, it didn't leave me wanting to experience that over and over again. So I don't know, contrary to popular belief maybe, but although I like the characters, I can't convince myself to pass FLCL Alternative, so I'm going to fail it.
I'm too old for this shit.
Opie, I think I'm getting too old for this stuff.
I'm too old for this shit.
I'm too old for this shit. I'm too old for this shit.
Will you follow me again?
I'm getting too old for this shit.
Yeah, I will say I'm a big fan of the original Fooly Cooly, and it is difficult for a lot of people to get into. You know,
I like the original too, man.
Yeah, like it's definitely the spectacle. There's obviously a ton of that, but there is, at least in the original, and I haven't watched the second season yet. I think we're going to be reviewing that at some point. But like, there is more to it, but you have to dig for it. So
yeah, for sure. And the thing with the first one that I kind of give a pass to is because it is about, I think, 4 episodes, right? Or 5, 4, 6, 4,
6, I
forget.
think.
It's very short, and it is what it was,
yeah.
right? And that's cool. It's, as a one-off, it was cool. But then you get into story arcs, right, with 4 main female leads, and it kind of is just there as a thing and not explored, and that kind of disappoints me. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, so that's how I feel. It's unfortunate. I really wanted to like it, but that's the truth.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime.
Mailbag.
Oh yeah.
All right, if you guys want to submit a mailbag, you can do it at the mailbags and more button on the top of the website, AAAPodcast.com. Submit some mailbags and we'll get to them. So I'll read the first one right off the bat. The first mailbag is submitted by Icy Rose. Ice, baby. And he writes, "Hello, AAA hosts. It's been discussed frequently that Japan's taste in anime is very different from what the rest of the world seems to like. So why is it that when we try to make anime-inspired cartoons that appeal more to our tastes, they're never really up to the same standard we hold to anime from Japan?"
Wait, what?
He says that it is frequently discussed that Japan's taste in anime is different from ours. Why is it that when we try to make anime-inspired cartoons that appeal to our taste, we don't like them?
Like Avatar.
Like Avatar.
I think people love Avatar.
We do love Avatar.
They do.
I don't.
Well, yeah.
I think it's because we lack the competency to make anime the way the Japanese people do. Also, we're incredibly subconsciously biased against it because we know it's not anime.
I think the subconscious bias is massive. I think it's also...
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's like when you go to... It's like food. It's like if you go to Japan and you eat some sushi, it's going to be freaking delicious and an amazing experience. But then you go to that sushi restaurant we went to in downtown St. Pete, and it's like it's a cheap it's not a cheap imitation, but it's like it's somebody trying to imitate what someone else does all the time, and it's like it's not really your lane.
Well, that place sucks.
So
that place was bad.
Well, yeah, that's a strong example.
I mean,
but it's like it's an imitation, and so it's not going to be generally as good. I mean, you'll get the one-offs that are like, wow, they actually did a really great job with this, but generally it's like, you know, stick to what you're good at. Don't try to imitate what somebody else is doing.
I also think it's very interesting because when I think about this stuff, my brain goes to, like how society, you know, kind of looks down on us for being emotional sometimes. Whether you're a man or a female, we both struggle with the way we show emotion. When women show emotion, it's kind of seen as like stop being annoying or bitchy, and when the men show emotion, it's seen as weak. And if you think about a lot of the animation that we have in America, all the superhero ones and whatever, it's a lot of like men being macho and women being like sexy, right? So because that's what's cool, quote unquote. And a lot of anime, for such a reserved country that Japan is, with the way they present themselves, it's a very emotional medium. A lot of characters in anime feel a lot, and they're not embarrassed about it. That's what makes Avatar something very refreshing, because when we got that as an American show, it had a very emotional cast, a very like grounded cast that felt a lot and weren't ashamed of it, and it wasn't the typical macho that we're used to. So I think that's why a lot of the time when the general audience gets a cartoon with a lot of emotion, they kind of go for the what the fuck is this shit, like it's not cool or whatever. So that's I kind of see that perspective too. So that's just my 2 cents on that.
All right. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Mandy? Did Mandy toss in there?
Oh, no, I'm good.
All right.
Okay. Next.
Last one
Last
comes
mailbag.
from Yotaru Vegeta. It's a quick one. It says, "Good day, AAA. Who are your favorite inhuman characters? The less Homo sapien, the better."
Now you got one, right, Mandy?
Oh yeah, Nyanka Sensei is my favorite from Natsume, of course.
Oh my god, I don't know.
I
literally don't know.
The very first one that came to mind.
Sorry, Mitz also put one down that I was gonna say, but it's okay.
Okay.
You go ahead and say it. I'll let you.
The Dakushun from 12 Kingdoms, little rat boy.
He's
great.
cool. He's cool. I also like Sanshi from the 12 Kingdoms, and the fact that like Sanshi gets to stay with Taiki forever. I'm like so jealous.
Rakushin does have a human form too.
He does. Yeah.
True. Yeah, for me, the very first one that came to mind, which I absolutely stand by, my favorite inhuman or non-human character is without a doubt Piccolo. I love Piccolo for so many reasons.
That's not where I thought you were going.
No?
Cool.
Where do you think I was going to go?
I thought you were going to say Squirtle.
Pokemon.
Oh, Squirtle. Yeah, that's true. I mean, Squirtle, like, I don't consider... I don't know. It's different. But, oddly enough, I went to get my car detailed today, and I handed the guy my car keys, and I have Squirtle on my keychain. And he's like, "Oh, sick. Squirtle's my favorite Pokemon." I'm like, hell yeah, dude.
Aw.
I'm like, Squirtle Squad for life.
Squirtle's the favorite Pokemon of everybody who doesn't really know much about Pokemon.
Get out of here,
Like,
dude.
yeah, they all know
my
Squirtle.
Pokemon knowledge
I'm not
is
talking about you.
second to none.
I'm
How
talking about
dare
you.
you?
I'm talking about like if you ask like a grandpa, who's your favorite Pokemon?
It's
he's like
Pikachu.
he's gonna say Squirtle. Or
No, they're going to say Pikachu because that's the only one they know.
It's gonna be Pikachu, Charmander, or Squirtle.
Okay.
No one likes Bulbasaur.
Well, nobody likes Bulbasaur.
So,
but yeah, Piccolo simply because he is, you know what? He might be the most human of the inhuman characters. And he's a good guy, and he's tsundere.
He is.
And he's a good dad.
He's very tsundere.
Yeah.
He's a good pop.
All right, guys, we're done. We are done here. So our work is done here.
Wait,
Thank
Enzo,
very
did
much.
you say one?
No, I literally can't think of one.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
Pikachu. I love Pikachu.
Pikachu. Okay.
All right, guys.
What about
So
the cat from Kiki's delivery service? Gigi.
Gigi.
Yeah, Gigi's cute too. Wow.
I love Gigi.
I do love Gigi, actually.
Who's also voiced by Billy Crystal. So let's see here.
Wait, really?
Oh no, it's Phil Hartman.
Oh.
I think it's Phil Hartman.
Oh, rest in peace.
I don't know. So again, thank you guys for listening to the podcast. Always a pleasure to have all of you. Please go check out our website, AAAPodcast.com. It is repaired. It's running very well now. So please.
It is more powerful than you could possibly
It is more
imagine.
powerful. We did upgrade our server. So thank you for everybody who listened. I'm going to give us a play aside here. You guys want to throw out your social media real quick?
Yeah. You guys are interested in the shit I have to say or post, you can follow me at Enzo Badia, ENZOBADIA, on Instagram and Twitter. You can follow either. I post cooler things on Instagram. My Twitter is slowly but surely growing, so thanks.
My Twitter is at AAA_Mandy. And you can come read my nerdy tweets about video games and anime.
And that's Mandy with an I.
Yes, with an I. Thank you.
Yes. And you can follow me on Twitter. I am 2 followers away from 700. For some reason, people follow me. I don't know why. But if you'd like, it's AAA Kazuo, which is KAZUO.
And don't forget to go to the Facebook RSVP for our karaoke event up in New York City. It's going to be fun as hell. You'll get to see my nipples. And with that, I bid you adieu. See you next week.
Bye.
What a goodbye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
After party.